okay, we got Anthony Longo, Marine Corps, doing some great things with the vets, with the dogs. So much to talk about. I really thank you for your time and appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man, for having me on. I appreciate this. Seriously, it's awesome.
Yeah, so let's get right to it. Pull up the website. So, like I was telling you before we came on, I had a friend, John Cruz, and, he took his life. He was a Marine. He could never get over leaving a body in the Cold War. And he was that alpha male that no matter what therapist I had presented to him, even cool ones, not like how's your day, like a cool one, he wasn't having it. So when you have an alpha male like that just got out and you're trying to help them and they're just, I'm fine, but they're not.
Yeah.
Is the dog the answer? Because every man loves a dog.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the person, and where they're at in their own headspace that can really kind of identify and help them, persevere through that issue and through that problem. For us, in particular for me and why the program was started was I just wasn't that guy that could sit there and just say, hey, I'm going to go to the beach and go meditate. Like, dude, my mind's going a zillion miles an hour and I'm not going to sit. My anxiety would be through the roof. Sitting on a beach, sweating my ass off, what am I doing here? Why am I here? And, for me, when I started doing some of the dog training in itself, and I think that was one of the biggest things for me was to just kind of shut down, pay attention, be in the moment and understand what the process was by reading the animal and, really kind of finding out what different drives that you can extract and pull and, retool and, that to me really kind of helped me kind of find like a meditative, like Zen state. And, it ultimately just allowed me to be present and not really think so much about anything else other than where I was at in that time and just having that sense of ownership to the dog and like, hey, I respect you, you respect me, I'm going to give you what you need. And then vice versa. And then that relationship just kind of expands and gets bigger and broader over time. And for what it was worth, the chance of just being able to partake in seeing other handlers and trainers and systems that were in place at different seminars, there was too much information that was just it directly correlated to like, all right, here's something here that I can like put together that dudes are going to understand, men and women are going to understand. And now it's just like, what's the delivery? How do you get this out there? And they've been doing it for years, animals and what they do for us. So, it was just kind of finding like, hey, this is my style. This is what I like. This is how I'm teaching it. This is, and it just kind of, I really didn't get to the point of like, hey, I'm going to teach this until, a couple of years later where I was just like, oh no, I love this. I love kind of doing this and constructing these projects. So, I think as far as the answer for everybody, dude, that's a tough one. That's a broad stroke, but I think like it definitely puts in a different perspective of what can be prescribed as a medical device and or a tool as opposed to going pharmacology or doing, other evasive or invasive routes of prescriptions, anything like that. It should definitely be something that's on the table.
Yeah, because I had seen that you went around the world to like the best trainers and everything. When you did that, what did you learn the most? What was some of the most surprising things that you had learned and seen that the average person wouldn't realize?
Just keeping your mouth shut and watching and paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, just pay attention to what you see. Like the dog is going to tell you everything that you need to know in that moment and in that time. And you just have to recognize it and you have to be able to mark it and you have to be able to like give the dog what it needs and kind of extract different forms of motivation out of the animal so that you can, keep doing this time in and time over again with the expectations of what it is you want.
Right. And then when we get into the service dogs, could you breed a French bulldog and train that to be a service dog, or is it a specific type of breed that it has to be that it could be a service dog?
I mean, for some dogs, it's within, realistic expectations, I'm sure there's some Frenchies out there who, as far as like being a service dog and especially kind of based into our program, what that looks like. Sure, possibly. You know, a lot of dogs, you know, the attrition rate is they're either in or they're out, and I'm not gonna tool a dog that I have to constantly grind down on. Where it's like, look, dude, like you just sperm didn't hit the egg the right way. You got to go.
Yeah,
you know, where are you going somewhere? You know, like family pet. See ya.
Yeah,
like, love you. Bye. Here's a bag of food. No give backs. Like, you know, so. No, but it's for why I chose this particular breed at the time. You know, this about 8 years ago when the organization kind of came into play. There was nobody really using Belgian Malinois because I mean, dude, they're nightmares if you don't work them.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh well, no shit. Like, here we go. Like let's take a dude who needs purpose. Let's give them that purpose so you don't have a nightmare. But let's make it so that you're teeing it up for them so that they're on a road to success. And this isn't something that, you know, it's, hey, here's your dog, deuces, see you when I see you. You know, I have a 96-hour flight window for any one of my dogs. So if anything ever happens wherever I'm at, it's like, all right, I'm gone. I'm going directly to the source. Like, hey, what's the problem? What's the issue? What are we doing? Like, let's fix this. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, so you can identify it. I can see split second, you haven't been working the dog. And that's nobody's problem but yourself. But here's what we're going to do. Here's a plan. Here's what we have. Do X, Y, Z. Let's work through this situation. Let's get through this problem. Send me some videos. You know, and everything is, it
sounds like a mission.
Effort.
It sounds like a mission, you know?
Yeah. And dude, I love it. Like it's just awesome being able to work with a lot of just giants, you know, that have come out of service, you know, from team guys, MARSOC dudes, you know, everybody in the SF community, and then, you know, your everyday grunts who are just the ground and pound dudes, you know, and to be able to, you know, break bread with them and teach them something and give them a tool and give them the opportunity to where they're just, you know, not going to be in the ground over the next 10 to 15 years.
Priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of where, you know, the concept came, was just, hey, how do we bring more of a cognitive approach to what this canine training is? And it's not just, hey, here's your dog, but it's more on be involved in the process, have a sense of ownership, you know, stand up to the brand, stand up to your, you know, your device, whatever branch of service that you were in, and own that and be a part of that brotherhood where it's like, I'm not getting paid for this. Like, I'm doing this because this is my form of therapy for you and to help somebody out. Do I eventually want to get paid one of these? Sure. But it's like anybody who knows, like, you know, you're growing an organization, you're growing a business, you need money and you need money. Like it's
just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And you got to eat crow when you start off for the first few years. And then once you start, you know, creating a name and creating a brand, that's when things kind of start falling into place. And then you start having more opportunities. And then it's like, okay, now I can start taking care of myself. And it's like, that was one of the hardest learning curves, was, you know, I was just killing myself, dude, just to
like waiting for it to pop. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, so for the people that came through, and the individuals and the vets that I had worked with, initially, they gave me so much more experience, because what was so unique about it is everybody was at a different space in their own healing, and their own headspace. So being able to just, you know, shoot the shit and talk, you know, drink a beer, sit by a fireplace and just say, hey dude, how did you get through this? How did you and then you just start, you know, going into that deep thought of like, all right,
have
he
a
can do it, I
conversation.
can do this, we can do this. Yeah, we can
conversation,
talk.
right? Like, not on the phone, just have a conversation. Yeah, that's awesome. And then you got to learn more. And I bet for you it's therapy too, because you got to keep doing this because they're counting on you. You know? So anytime you get down, hey, you can't. You got people that depend on you.
100%. And that was one of the hardest things. Again, like, it's like, you know, you trying to take care of yourself. You're like, what is that? Like that's to the wayside, you know? And it's like, I tacked on probably 40, 50 pounds. Like, I was miserable. But I know I pulled my head out of my ass, and I was just like, all right, dude, stop being a piece of shit. Go to the gym. Step one, go consistently, and then continue to go, and then continue to build, continue to work, continue to just go, do something. And, you know, that came in, you know, over time. I started shedding weight. I got, you know, healthier. And then the mindset of, hey, we're almost there. Just keep going. keep pushing, keep doing for yourself. And it's like learning how to self-love. I mean, that was the ticket.
That was hard.
How do you love yourself?
That took me 39 and a half years.
Right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
just,
someone's like, what do you
just
mean
came
I love
around the
myself?
corner. Yeah. Because I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, what do you know? You don't know me.
Yeah.
And then finally, you know, for me, I stepped back and said, okay, they're right.
Yeah.
I better figure some shit out. You know,
because we all know what we have to do.
Yeah.
Like life's easy. We make it hard, or people make it really difficult. And it's just like, man, thank God a lot of things are just involuntary, because there's some people out there I don't think would be able to breathe on their own if they had to.
Absolutely. Positively.
Right.
Not for sure.
Yeah, it's brutal.
You know, especially now, you look out there and you just go, oh, boy.
Yeah, you can't fix stupid.
Now, when you get into the breeding, I'm real curious about this with the traits.
Yep.
Personality, so on and so forth. How is there a certain thing that you do or way you do it that gives a dog certain traits? You know, there's hereditary, I assume, with it, but then also how you train it, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about giving it the traits that you need to?
So when I did my breedings, you know, we obviously try to pick a solid male and a solid female. You know, you kind of want to gauge, and it's a crapshoot, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, look at stake horses and everything else like that. You got dudes that'll spend millions on a horse, and they get something that's like, all right, you know, send it to Toronto Beef. Like, let's get rid
China.
of it. Yeah,
it's a clone from China.
Let's get rid of this thing.
They do that with French bulldogs like crazy. They're like, this is a purebred 15K.
Yeah. Eyes are like, look like a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Eyes are
And my friends would take me, and they'd be like, they got the paperwork. Okay, because I have two of them. I said, take me. And if it breathes and it's like doing that, not a purebred.
Yeah.
Because I have two, and they're maniacs, but they don't have any of that breed.
Yeah.
You know. But everybody says, oh, they're purebred. But, you know, so how do you breed the traits into them?
So it's really, again, how the sperm hits the egg. Like, you know, you're going to have.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Guys, remember the days when you're always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever the opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, awkward conversations, waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. Does it work? Don't think you need it? Try it free for a month and see. You're going to love it. You could be missing the best sex of your life. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help give you the confidence where it counts. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code MSCS at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code MSCS to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. This episode is brought to you by Let's Get Checked. Are you the man your father was? Recent studies have shown that men's testosterone levels have dropped substantially since the 1980s at about an average of 1% per year. Think about how old your father was when he was born. For example, if he was 30, your testosterone levels could be 30% lower than his. Low testosterone levels can have all types of health effects on men. It can affect your mood, sex drive, memory, muscle mass loss, you name it. And yes, low testosterone is more common the older you get, but it can affect men at any age. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. You can order a testing kit that will be delivered to you in a discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 days. So, if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS Media and get 25% off your test using the code MSCS Media. The link is in the description at the top. Really?
Congenital. Yeah, you have
Shit.
some things that are going to come into play. And I did a lot of paperwork on my dogs just to make sure that, hey, there was nothing I was going to be giving to these veterans that was going to set them back. And like, if the expectations of attachment to something that you want to put that effort into, and then all of a sudden it dies from something that's out of nowhere that you could have possibly have prevented.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it'd be like, that's fucked up. Like, dude, like, damn, that's like, wow.
You just got out of combat, saw whatever you seen.
And then
now you go give him a dog, and in 5 years now have to deal with more death.
Yeah.
Or sickness or whatever.
100%.
Yeah, great. And I've never seen anyone that does what you do that went around the world to learn.
Yeah.
Literally around the world
Yeah.
to learn with the breeders and everything, and then went to this.
Yeah.
That's why I just think it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, my time spent in Switzerland with Tom. What's up, dude? Was, Tom Andrzejkowski, Mondio ring guy, just solid dude. Being able to watch him and see some of his dogs and what he was doing and how they train over there, like it was awesome, man. And I got to kick it in Switzerland and walk around and
Cool.
chill, and it's beautiful.
And they don't, when they take the dogs to shows and everything, do they abuse them?
No.
I always say that. People
No.
always say like they abuse them at the dog shows.
Yeah, it's
I'm sure somebody could, but
yeah,
But they're not like taking a whip.
no,
You know what I mean?
No.
It's just it everything has
A stigma now.
a consequence, right? Like
Yeah.
you make a correction on a dog, you're going to get a grass eater that's like, oh my God, you did something bad to the doggy. Like, oh wow. It's like, look, dude, dog's being an asshole, needs to get corrected.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, I wish we could do more with kids.
It's like a kid. Yeah, exactly.
Put an e-collar on a kid, just
Right.
no, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Now you go like this, you got to worry.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So, being able to travel around and just kind of take away from some of the top trainers that were in the game in the sporting community really helped kind of navigate my system to where I could make something where it was almost like a hybrid model of what the focus was. And the focus is to, essentially kind of create a meditative state with the dog and looking into what some of the cognitive benefits were as far as anybody who's experienced a TBI, and the balance issues with vestibular access, just to show, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's the mechanics, get you moving, get you doing different things, kind of creating this routine, this skit, this choreographed dance with you and your dog for the 15, 20 minutes that you're going to have that attention span with the animal is almost like, hey, I tore my shoulder. My physical therapist is telling me to go do these wall climbs with my hand. And this way it's going to strengthen. How many times have we all been injured and we actually do every single one of these exercises?
Never.
Like,
Yeah.
Like I'll do a couple, like,
For an
all right,
hour.
here we go. Like, all right, I'm done with that. Like, I'm not going to stretch. It hurts. Like, all right, cool. So that's kind of the premise, is to engage with the individual, get them out, have them do the engagement with the dog, document what they're seeing, reflect back into journals, and be able to express themselves as far as what they saw, how they feel, and what were the problems that they've isolated. That now when we see this on our end, on the admin side, we're like, okay, this is what you're going to do. Hey, so we have tape on it. We're breaking down the game film. We're looking at it this way, like from here to here, do this, try this, and then send us video after you do that. And then, it was awesome because I did this with a guy up in New Orleans, and he was working with an occupational therapist at the time. And I never even seen this dog. Didn't even put my hands on it, didn't evaluate it, didn't do anything with this thing. A year and change later, he was able to transfer. Like, I went up there, and after a year, I went up there and I was like, hey, where's the progress? Where are you at? And the dog was amazing. The dog was awesome. And then a few months after that, there was just a couple things that we had to tighten up because he was starting to buy into the system, and he had the confidence now to execute what I was asking of him. And now he has a service dog that the dude was awesome.
Now it's locked in.
Yeah.
And if you could, for a vet that has, post, I hate that word, but
Yeah.
when they just went to war and they're a little upset after war,
Mm-hmm.
what does someone feel like inside? You know, we don't see it. We see the tough guy,
Yeah.
you know, that went, and they don't show it. But deep down, what are they feeling? I mean, I know it varies all the time,
Yeah.
but because everybody throws that word around with, you know, football, with everything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to vets and the military, I think it's just you're in a different lane.
Yeah, because you know you've gone somewhere, you've done something at a very young age that was probably the highlight of your life at that time, and it had such a critical impact on your growth as a person, as a young adult, that we have probably never really dealt with all the other shit that we were supposed to deal with. That kids in college just kind of, oh, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna go to school, we're gonna go here. And whatever family traumas they had, you know, they're probably dealing with it later on, where it's like, I don't even know what divorce statistics are these days, but it's like you see dudes that are, or whoever was married early on, like how many people are getting divorced now? And it's like, is that a part of, if we're going to do a study, maybe Yale or Stanford, whoever, there's going to do a study on that. Like, are these traumas associated with their relationships as they move forward because they're not dealing with it? So I think with understanding like where a veteran is when he gets back, it's a small minority of the population. I think it's like 6% of the population are veterans at this point. So with that, you know, it's 22, 23 million, whatever that is. And you start compounding whatever childhood traumas they've had, and then looking into, hey, now some of them went to war or some of them didn't. And are they dealing with what they need to deal with? And they get home. And then from my experience, like, I'm around people who have no idea like what's going on, you know, and then everybody has an opinion about something that's happening here or what should be happening there, and they haven't gone anywhere. They don't see what the world is like outside their phone, or just being able to have the opportunity to travel, but they have an opinion.
And you that have just been there has to hear this opinion.
Yeah, and it's cool because, you know what, dude, that's what makes this country great. Like, it gives you the platform, it allows you to have and exercise your voice to speak, which is great, you know. But sometimes you're just kind of like, man, I wish you could go there and see that, you know, what that's like. And then when you come back, how are you going to deal with it? And I think, you know, more of the transition aspects of coming out of service they could be improved. And, you know, you're not really set up to deal with, at least from what I experienced, it was a 5-day checkout process. SAPs, TAPs, and then, you know, track down the career planner, the career recruiter, whoever this dude is, that he's just like manages always to disappear.
We're at probably 15 or 16 vets, Marine, Navy SEAL, all that, and every one of them the 5 checkouts, and that's it. See you on your way.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is, and again, why this is an honor to talk to you, is that you go do that, you're protecting our country, and then you come back, have to protect yourself because you're not getting help, and it's me saying this, and then you have to protect your fellow vets because nobody else is.
Yeah.
So not only do you go leave your family or friends or life here, risk your life, then when you get back, you have to adjust to this weird life now where there's no bombs and no nothing.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, fellow brotherhood that are struggling, that now somebody's got to go help because they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, then it goes into like, are we going to get into the victimhood mentality?
Yeah.
Then are we going to play the victim? Like, am I the victim now? Am I this because I'm different? You're telling me that I can't get a job here because I have this issue. Oh, I'm fucked. I'm dead now. I'm this, I'm that. And now I'm going to go sulk and be in a hole and not have anything because I feel like the system failed me. Because like, what did I do? I'm just trying to be honest.
And then what does that?
And then that gets you just bend over, grab your ankles. Yeah. Then you
hide it because now you can't get a job. If some girl hears that you got PSD, stay away from him. That's the stigma. So now eventually you hide it, and what happens?
It just boils over, man.
One way or another, it ends.
Yeah.
And that's just a cooking. It's on that stove, just cooking.
Yeah.
So with what you do, you know, people watching this and that want to donate, if it's a vet that had just got out of the service, or maybe they've been out 7 years, can this help at any period in the transition?
Yeah, I mean, we just launched the dog, Little Trump. Like he was man. I love this dog.
Yeah.
That's Raven. That's Ray Ray.
Ray.
Yeah,
I was like,
she was our Montana litter. Trump, he was the first dog that he was the second dog that we sourced from overseas because we had to step back a little bit and take a time out on what we were doing on a production standpoint, and grease the wheels on a new outlet, a new vertical to make this thing remote and to make sure that we could do more and service more individuals through the next platform that we're going to be launching. And so he's detection, he's search. He's an awesome dog, and he was very, very difficult to get away with or to let go.
Yeah.
Just because he temperament perfect.
Perfect, huh?
Recall, everything about that dog was amazing. And so he went to a Marsoc vet.
They're beautiful dogs too.
In the Marsoc vet, he's still active duty, and he's on his way of checking out. So we're hoping to be able to start utilizing these animals in this way with individuals who are still on active duty, so that they can deal with the process of hey, I'm already transitioning with my dog and what I'm doing and staying on task. Because most of the time when you're getting ready to retire, you're getting ready to EA or separate, you're just I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I'm hanging out and doing whatever I want to do. And then to get this purpose and to fall into something that you can take on and elevate and move yourself into a direction of it's not hey, I'm going to be a new canine handler, but it's more on I'm going to take ownership of this because I want to be outside with my dog. I want to go shoot with my dog. I want to go do these exercises and climb mountains or whatever I want to do. And that's essentially what we're doing. So it's you don't have to just be on your way out or whatever, but you can get it while you're in, while you're out, at any time.
Yeah.
Because the transition doesn't stop. It's
right.
People now, if you're listening and you need help, hit us up, call us. We're going to be putting more resources on there so that if there's any vet hotlines and that people need to reach out to, there's a lot of access to the information, or, people you can call centers. But if you just want to talk to shit and just hit me up.
I don't trust them, hit you.
Yeah.
And with the mailing list, so if somebody signs up for the mailing list, you'll give them updates, what's going on, everything like that.
Yeah. We send out our newsletters, everything updates. We're correcting some stuff now on the back end, bringing in a new marketing team, and just trying to do that aspect now where I couldn't stand any of that before.
Yeah.
Social media, I hate it,
bro.
It's so
I post and ghost and don't even look.
Yeah.
I put it up and leave.
I can't wait to get rid of it.
Go to what we do. Go to our mission.
So we're always looking for volunteers if people can help out.
Yeah.
We're looking for anybody who wants to host events for us. We're getting ready to build out some of those packages that we can literally be a plug and play, where all of our brand guidelines, anything associated with an event, if you guys want to do something, I mean, you're more than welcome to launch it out. And the retreat aspects that we do, for me it wasn't just hey, here's just the dog, but it's more on what is the home life and how can you identify deficiencies in just what relationships are at home, and to be able to tool yourself to, if you don't know how to cook, let's teach you how to make 1 or 2 recipes while you're with us. Because I'm Italian, I'm Sicilian, so it's I love to cook.
Me too. Yeah.
And it's you get some dudes that are I can't even make a grilled cheese, and you're just bro, I can't make a salad. Dude, all right. So to teach them to make 1 recipe that they can bring home and then take that off their wife's plate to have to do. It's
that's neat.
Show the initiative. Don't even say anything. Just do it. So when she gets home, she's going to be pissed off about something. Just
right.
Hey,
and hey, if you
here's
cook
dinner.
her something, her panties might drop.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah. You got to wait another
You might
month.
get a 2 for 1. Right? No bitching and panties.
Exactly.
Hey, I mean, you can't
Best of
lose.
both worlds.
Yep.
Donate now and sign up just on that alone.
Yeah.
Go over to our shop. This is cool. This is a cool way to support you guys. We're going to get a bunch of these. I always ask this. How do they fit? Because remember, I'm 5'11".
Yeah.
Not.
No, they fit good. They're all Bella canvas. Then there's a couple that we have as next level. But we're trying to find a new vendor now, so that this way we can reduce the amount of inventory that we have to hold on to, because once you start inventorying stuff,
right,
it doesn't just sell like you think it's going. We need to try to really push and try to get some of this stuff out there. And it's also it's the marketing stuff, you know. So for us, it's being able to you know, really kind of find what the brand is. And, you know, we did a rebranding last year, and then this is what we came up with. And, you know, we're looking to polish it a little bit more. But
And where did the name Warrior's Choice come from? How'd you guys come up with that name?
So it was like the Warrior's Choice was like, it's your choice. Right. Like it's that was like the slogan initially, where it's like, it's your choice. So it's like, you can do anything you want to do, anything you set your mind to.
Right.
It's your choice. Like nobody owes you anything. Like it's your choice to participate in group discussions. It's your choice to look at your life and be like, hey, where am I buying my own bullshit? Like, what am I doing wrong that I'm constantly seeing the same cycle, wash, rinse, and repeat, you know? And that's kind of where it's like, all right, this is where the dog fits in. It's like, you can start journaling that. And then, all right, once you journal that, let's go back to this. And, let me start seeing these things and let me address them and find out ways I can communicate.
And the dog's your best friend.
Yeah, the dog. I mean, you can lock your dog in a trunk and your old lady. Who's going to be happy to see you?
Yeah, the dog. Right? Yeah, yeah.
He's hey, what's up, Dad? Where'd you go? She's mad, but you know.
Yeah, well, who cares?
Yeah.
But, when I had time, my dog followed me everywhere.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter what argument I was in with anybody, my dog was with me all the time, and it's just like I always got a buddy. So whatever.
Now going to the back to the point with the dog, right? I'm sure
I'm
there's
getting that gray hat, by the way.
I'm sure there's scientific research out there too. I'd be almost positive there's scientific research that shows people's emotions or their heart rate or whatever it is when a dog's involved, right? And mentally and all that type of stuff.
Yep.
So right now, as it stands, a veteran who comes back from combat, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we talked about this before, the dog is not covered under the insurance policy, but the pills and all that type of stuff is.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get, I guess, Congress or whoever, right, to say, hey, listen, man, this needs to change.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah. So with what they have now, I mean, they have the Pause Act that they passed a couple years ago where they allotted $10 million. Well, $10 million is not going to go very far.
Right.
And then you have to be an approved vendor. You have to be in business. So then they put in these other little stipulations where you have to be in business for XYZ. You got to be able to do this. You have to be under this, you know.
That's a disgrace.
Yeah. So
and that's just because they want to make a news thing. Oh, we helped the vets, but we didn't screw Big Pharma because they're giving us the $100 million a year.
Yeah. Or we'll send, $500 billion to fucking Iran.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Like nothing.
Yeah. There you go.
Or they
overnight.
lost it.
We'll overnight it.
Yeah.
Or I gave you too much. My bad.
Yeah. It's
like
you're asking for guys, who went for us and they can't account for, was it $3 billion that they couldn't account for?
I don't remember that.
One of the one. How do you not? Anyway, that's another thing that should have went to this. You guys,
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah. And I mean, if they did want change, it's just like, all right, anybody who runs for Congress, guess what? You're going to go to the VA. You don't get private health. You get government health plan.
That's what needs to happen.
So it's like, here you go. You want to make change? I mean, hey, Trump, you win, dude.
Yeah.
Send all those people, everybody in Congress, Senate, VA.
I think if he does get in, he's going to go off.
Yeah.
I mean, good night.
Yeah, lobbing heads.
I mean, hey, you can like him, hate him, but we weren't in this shit with him.
Yeah, I mean, there was times where it's just like, oh, damn, dude, it's like, stop. Like, like, just let it go. Like, but I think what's been proven is, he doesn't need to be out there anymore now. Like, they're trying to barricade him and hide him.
They got 4 indictments and a gag order, and he's winning by a landslide right now. I mean,
he's not even.
Wait, I forgot you're trying to take him any business out of New York. So you're trying to crush his main business. You got 4 indictments or 3 indictments, 1 state case, and a gag order, and he's still winning by a landslide.
Yeah.
Because people, I think, started to go, okay, he's not talking. Let's look a little bit at his policy.
Yeah.
Oh, no problems.
Yep. Yeah.
Or not too many.
Well, now we're gonna have whatever's coming through. All the shit that was happening in Mexico. Everybody coming up and through now, and now it's like, all right, when are the riots gonna start? What's this war gonna kick off? How is it gonna, everything that's going on in DC right now? It's like, all right, what's the play? Like, what are the Vegas? If you got odds, let me know because I can guarantee you something's gonna pop off beforehand.
That's how
Big Brother's listening, Airman.
That's how I get to, because we've had so many people, so many guests in with facts.
Yeah.
So now, if you could pull up that helicopter, I mean, bless those guys and their family. But see, my problem now is whenever I see something like this, and I shouldn't, But I look at that and I say, they played this for one time on the news.
Yeah.
15 minutes. Those guys got family.
Yeah.
And you just mention it one time.
Yeah.
You don't explain what happened. So with this here, a malfunction, just a mistake. Because in my mind, you know, and I hate to be like this with this situation, but, you know, I put the tin hat on and get the bottle of moonshine, and I say, what is behind this?
Yeah. 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 I mean, there's training accidents all the time. You know, I think also out of respect for the families to kind of let them grieve. It's like, why are we going to, you know, why do we, you know, yeah, we know that it happened. You know, and I think that's the hardest thing. And a lot of these dudes and, you know, it's just, it's one of those things that, you know, I don't mind not seeing it and let that family go and do their own grieving.
If that was the reason why they weren't showing it. Right. If they weren't showing it because they didn't want to shove it in the family's face, fine.
Yeah.
But if you're not showing it because, you know, you don't want to, or you have what you think is more important.
Yep.
That, you know, that's.
Yeah. And the news today, I canceled cable. I don't even bother watching it. You know, for me, it's just like, all right, what do I see within the small little niches that I try to find? And, you know, I look on both sides of the aisle all the time. You know, I'm more of inline independent in that sense, where it's like, I think everybody is a little too one way or to the other. And it's just like, we all kind of agree on similar shit. Like, why are we all like going crazy about this? Like,
yeah, I think we all want what's best.
Yeah.
But they made it so you're either red or you're blue.
Yeah. And then they make this big ordeal on mental health where it's like, all right, well, the problem is, you know, my brother, he just got his doctorate in psychology for children with ASD.
Awesome.
And
congratulations to him.
I'm super proud of him. And, you know, to get an appointment with him, he's 8 months out.
Good for him.
So for a doctor that, hey, look, my kid or somebody, I need to go see a therapist. It's 8 months out. Wow. By the way, we're going to give you these pills right now. Yeah. Go take these. And then just so happens the side effects.
And they got you.
Suicide, all this other shit. And then it's just like, all right, what am I doing? Why doesn't this work? And then it's like, you still haven't had that approach of being able to go communicate. It's just like, all right.
And we just had Dr. Robert Epstein, who is world renowned. I mean, this guy is on a whole nother level, like psychiatrist. And he proved that the SRIs do nothing.
Yeah.
They don't do anything with dopamine, nothing. It's just, it's all negative side effects. Yeah. So then you're on another pill and another pill and another pill.
Yeah, and then you get hooked on this, and then you're just a zombie. Like you can't think for yourself anymore.
Or miserable.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people go from like happy, you know, let's go play, to just like a miserable, irritated zombie.
Yeah. And there's some people. I mean, there's some people that need to be on medicine. Like, I
can. I can name. I can name one right now at the moment.
Yeah,
I can name one.
There's some people that need it. But yeah, I think it's, you know, just to go into a holistic approach. You know, being able to unplug. I did an event up with Two Wolves Foundation. They're doing overland adventures for veterans that are suffering. So they do veterans, first responders, and law enforcement dudes. And what you do is you just go out there. They're working with this other Tread Lightly, this other company or nonprofit, and they just basically what we did is we put in about 900 linear feet of fencing to protect this national forest up in Kootenai National Forest. That's up in northeastern Montana, northwestern Montana. And dude, it was like the first couple of days you're just kind of like, what am I doing? I got no. It's just like I was throw my phone away into the camper, and I was just like, all right, I'm here now, and just to see the views and just to see all that and to unplug. And then when I got home, I was just like, wow, like I needed that. I needed that 6-7 days of just doing absolutely nothing, being out in the mountains, having fun, and just, you know, bullshitting with dudes that have, you know, same thing, been there, done that. But yeah,
I was really curious what you do with the holistic, you know, activities.
Yeah.
So like a mountain and just peaceful where there's no one around. I don't know why they don't do more things like that.
There's a lot of good organizations out there. There's a lot of bad ones. I've been very fortunate to kind of be involved with a network that it's just really great people who are giving back in very much similar situations where it's like, hey, it's about the deed, not the glory. Like I hate having to be out and talking and putting my like I don't want like dude this isn't I don't want anything. I just want to do the work. Like let me
alone.
Let me alone. Let me just be like Wizard of Oz in this thing and just give it to everybody else. Give it to the people who are doing the work, right? Like give it to the guys that are pulling themselves out of a shitty place in a shitty situation. Recognize it and saying, all right, I'm gonna go be something now. Like be something better. Do the next thing in my life that I want to accomplish. I don't want to sit here and run my mouth. Like it's like. Fuck am I like I don't
well you're a lot but
that's how that's
how you are
you're
not the guy to step up and be like hey blah 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 like give me the work
and
somebody else could go through the Instagram
so follow us at Warriors Choice Foundation on Instagram.
We'll have that at the top of the description. There's also your link tree, so all the links will be in there too.
We have.
I love the raffles, man.
Oh yeah, the raffles are dope. The raffles are sick. I've been very, very fortunate.
Oh, and you have an event coming up in November, right?
So we're doing for low income families who are struggling. If there's anybody you know and they need something to eat for Thanksgiving Day, from noon to 4. We'll be over at Ocean K Park, which is Jupiter off Marcinski and US 1 by the volleyball courts over there. And we're going to just be deep frying some turkeys. We'll have sides and stuff like that. And we'll have a bunch of volunteers and, whoever shows up will just, cut a plate for you and sit and bullshit. And
if somebody wants to do you need volunteers still?
Yeah, I mean,
just contact you?
Just contact us. Shoot us an email. Call the numbers that are on. I think for more information, it's 561-651-9182, and just find out more on how you can be available for us. And
that's great, man.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. Great. Yeah, especially now. With everything going on. Scroll down a little bit. There's some cool stuff on it.
And they're with our partners with Palm Beach Stem Cell. So that's another thing that we're able to do is start providing some progressive health.
As we were talking, Tig, he was going to get his hips done.
Yeah.
And he went wherever he went, and he got flu top and stem cells. Doesn't need his hips done.
Yeah.
And those fucking doctors were going to drag him in there.
Pills, baby.
And Tig. Well, you know who he is.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to get them both done at the same time. I said, are you nuts? He's like, I don't care. I just want it done. You know how you guys are. You guys.
Well, my sister had to get her hip replaced, and she's 27 years old. So she had, she had epilepsy.
Oh,
and she was on Depakote and I guess Depakote is a black box medication.
Yeah, what they're supposed to take off. When it's at the red, they're supposed to take it off.
So she's been on she was on Depakote, I think, for like 12 or 15 years.
Dirty, man.
The doctors never did bone density examinations on her, so she had venural necrosis inside the hip.
Oh,
so at 25, she had to have her first hip replacement done. And then now the other one, they tried to do a graft to get it to rejuvenate, and now she's got to go back and have the second hip done.
You want $20 million for this? Sue. $50 million.
So in New York, they were from New York, so they moved down from New York. Statutes of limitation, 2 years upon departure from New York.
I got somebody for you. That red box. Yeah. It goes red box, then black box.
Yeah.
Black box means death.
Yeah, black box is fucked up, and they don't say there's what is that? They don't.
Years, man.
Yeah.
I bet you wanted to go back to war for a minute there. Right. Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah.
Go down. You got some cool shit in there.
Yeah, talk about some of the events. I mean, I see a bunch in there. You had the bar crawl.
Yeah, so we did a bar crawl. We had 5 different breweries up in my hometown, up in Schenectady, New York, that came together for the mission for what we're trying to do. And it was a great turnout, just amazing people up there. So we ended up brewing our own beer, or they brewed a beer for the organization.
That's cool.
And then that beer was then sold, or then we received, portions of proceeds.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That is the best picture. Yeah. That's one of the best.
That's bourbon. That's bourbon. That's my dog.
That's what's up.
He's the one that started this, so he's the one that should be, he's the one that needs all the
you should put him on the front with the balls like that.
Yeah.
Cool dude, man.
And then we had the other event. I was actually up in with Operation Warrior Shield. Met with them. They're doing a lot of holistic stuff through yoga and also a service dog program. They outsource some of their dogs. They're now, hopefully we'll be able to work more together. And what we were able to do is we met Judge Janine, which was rad. She's awesome. She's fucking cool as fuck.
Yeah,
man.
she's
cool.
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to her for a while.
And then Mayor Adams came in a little bit late just because the protests that they were having in the city on that day, they had to shut down all the bridges.
He's got his hands full.
Yeah, it's a soup sandwich up there. Right? But very well spoken. I was like, all right, he hit all his benchmarks where,
that's what
a politician.
Montel Williams, too.
Montel Williams up there.
Really?
Montel Williams, yeah. Scroll back up. Remember Montel Williams?
Yeah, I do, actually, yeah.
He's a Marine.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's a Marine, and then he went to the Navy after that, yeah.
His hands.
Yeah.
Like Jordan's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, right down.
Rita Cosby,
down.
she was awesome. She was great.
Where?
Up. Right there.
Yeah. We got to meet,
Montel.
I'm trying to think who else we meet.
Montel, man.
Yeah, dude, it was just such a good time, man. And, they're doing great stuff with their organization, too. Everything is kind of switching to the holistic model, man, where it's, we don't need much. It's get us outside, get us doing the things that we like, focus on us. And, for being a tailored approach, it's more of just really paying attention to who this person is and giving them just the attention that's needed for them to just kind of see past some of the impediments that have like held them up.
And what made you want to start all this? Why do this? What's the backstory? Like, why even get involved and start this up?
I saw too many people that were going into the ground too early from my generation, and that was probably about 10 years later, 10 years after the fact. And it doesn't go, I don't have to say very much to identify the bar and how high it's set for government healthcare, and to see a deficiency and to identify some reasonable solutions. It just made sense to like, okay, let's do something.
Step in.
And the other aspect to that is how do you just do something for somebody else without having to expect anything in return, and it's like, how do you take somebody who voluntarily said, hey, I'm willing to go do this for these people that I care about in my tribe, my family, and then go make a new tribe and find more brothers that you can, your ride or dies. And it's just like, all right, well,
super selfless, right?
Yeah. Like it was, I'm a giving person by nature. So, to me, it was just like, even when I was going to EMT school, right? So I was like, their first day of class, why do you want to be here? I was like, I don't know. I don't want to help people. I don't know but I want to help something. And they kind of looked at me like, fuck is this guy? Like, fucked off. Like, what do you mean? I was like, well, some people put themselves in stupid situations, and that's them, man. It's like, you're not going to fix that. But I saw the opportunity where it was like, you know what? No, like, these aren't the people that I want to help. Like, these are the people that I want to help. And I want to just show like, hey, look, dude, like, you can do anything you want to do. You just have to grind it out, and you got to do it. And you got to be able to accept and pivot and navigate and move through adversity in a way where, like everybody says, hey, it's a mindset. Sure. But you also got to, persevere. You got to have some grit, and you got to know, like, all right, this isn't that bad. There's things that we can control. Emotions, we can control how we react to things. So it's like, if I see like, hey, this pisses me off, well, why am I going to watch it? All right, let's get that out of my way. And then it's like, you go into, what are ways of kind of dealing with relationships and resentment. And it's like, all right, well, if I can figure out ways to not resent certain things, or how to hit a nuclear switch every single time that I know I can, it's like, I'm sure we all have somebody in our family that wherever we're at a dinner table, the moment something comes up, our fucking spider senses
cringe.
Like, stop. And then we say something where it's like, all right, you want to be stupid? All right, fuck around, find out. Boom, here we go. Now I'm going to hit the switch.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, well, there's our ego. And it's just like, what are we doing? What are you doing to help kind of like identify ways of, getting rid of the resentment and not hanging on to things that we don't need to hang on to, seeing how much time we're wasting on shit that doesn't matter. Like, whatever happened. That's it. What are you doing next? That's it. Like, life is over on that side. Next step, how do we gravitate towards being whole for us and not trying to find closure why relationships that don't work.
I just wish when, veterans came back, they would, you talked about, kind of 5 things and then goodbye and see you later. Like, the dog thing's great, what you're doing. There's so many different things, though, right? Talk about holistic approaches. Like, maybe something's not for everybody, right?
Correct.
And, but, of course, they turn, unfortunately, to drugs or alcohol. And it's sad. I had a friend, went to high school with him. He served in Iraq when they first went over and they were pulling the statues of Saddam down. And I saw him a few years later. He came back. He seemed the same. Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? And come to find out later, they did a whole newspaper article on him with my hometown. He ran in the Philadelphia, one of the marathons up there. It was a marathon affiliate. He loves to run. Like, that's his escape to do whatever. And in the story, would have never known. All my buddies are calling me like, did you know this? I'm like, what? He got back. He saw some terrible things over there. He doesn't talk about that too much. He slept with a shotgun every night in his bed. And every night he said, will this be the time that I pull the trigger?
Yeah.
And what he would do was it would be 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. He would get up and he'd just go for a run.
Yeah.
And he turned that negative, and that was his thing, running. But I'm saying I wish they would find what it is. Spend the time. Find it. Do you like football? Watch football or whatever it may be. Yeah. And they don't.
Yeah, I'd like to share another one with you. Same with John. When John first got released, he had come home, and he had come home 2 days early, and he wanted to surprise her, and his wife was in the shower.
Yeah.
And he just had in his head that his wife was in the shower with another guy, and he unloaded. He just started shooting, like not where she was, but he just started blasting the house, like 5 clips, just blasting the house. I mean, he just got home from the Cold War. No help at all. They put him in some type of like military jail thing for 3 months, 90 days.
Yep.
Then some evaluation that anybody with half a brain can just say yeah to and get by, and left him go. After he shot up an entire house, didn't just put him in, like get him help or something. They were like 3 months. Okay, you said yeah. Okay, go ahead on your way. Yeah. And he went on his way to a bottle for the rest and pill.
It's crazy.
And a clean guy.
Yeah.
This is a guy I can assure you prior wouldn't have touched anything that was alcohol, but but it's just one of those things.
I always just wonder. I think about they say veterans coming back, and it's hard for them to sometimes assimilate back, as if you want to call it, and find jobs. And it's like, man, if they could they create all these other stupid things and all these other jobs. It's like school security guards. Yeah, that'd be the guy I'd want. Yeah, if in case there's a school shooting, that'd be the guy I want. Those are the type of jobs where I think you can bring people back and they can still be actively involved in society and
well, I don't want to rent a cop where my dog is going right now. I want
a
fucking Marine.
There's some dudes I wouldn't want to see with a gun.
Right.
No,
even in the military. Even some of the dudes.
No, I want to.
Even contracting, I saw some dudes that were just bro, give me your gun. Stop. Don't take this out.
I respect all, but I want a Marine where my dog is going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Sorry. Because they all look like you.
right.
Gigantic. Go to the link tree because all the raffles are on there. And
so we actually
this is cool.
Yeah, so we were voted. We made the cut. We didn't get to the grand prize for the Land Rover deal. We actually just launched most of this stuff, but we just wanted to keep it up so that we could showcase hey, here's some of the organizations and other businesses that we work with. Who are constantly assisting us and helping us get.
Oh, that's
cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, bro.
Yeah. So our next event with CrossFit Sea Dog is going to be April 7th and 8th over at Carlin Park. Last year we had 2,500 people on the first day. I think there was close to 300 athletes that were competing. So same premise, 2-day competition. That's going to be on April. That's one of our events that we benefit from them. I love Adam and Kelly. Going to be really kind of expanding. Last year was our first year that we brought in the adaptive athletes from up in Wheelwad. So now the competition in April is a qualifier for anybody who is trying to compete in like CrossFit workouts for an adaptive athlete standpoint. So if they wanted to come and sign up, if they're a vet or whatever, hey guys, here's your opportunity to do that.
And could someone like me and Rob, could we pay and donate and come and watch?
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be really cool to watch.
Yeah, dude, there's one guy, he had like half his arm missing, and dude is just like climbing up the road. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
Like
there's
it's
no
nothing,
excuse.
huh?
Yeah, like just
Oh, yeah, I want to see that.
It's sick.
Me too.
Whenever
Jumping
you have
rope,
these
like-
events coming up, like even though it's April,
Yeah, just text
either
me.
stop back in, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
And text me and we'll run a story.
Okay.
You know, like on all of them so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be badass.
I just watched, they had it was I think it was 2 weekends or 2 weeks ago, the Bears, which I'm not a Bears fan, but Bears are terrible.
Yeah, you are.
But Eagles, baby.
I can't get
I'm a
the
Steelers fan,
But,
but they suck. I can't wait for Tomlin to go. He's
Tomlin. My mom loved the Steelers. That Tomlin,
bro.
he had Ben, and he didn't use Ben right.
No.
Period.
Well,
In my opinion.
he had the best team in the NFL.
He had the
Right.
best team, but he wanted to play his other quarterback.
But they had
I said it.
It was before. It was during, I think it was halftime or whatever, the Bears game, and it was there was this veteran. I'm not sure, Iraq probably or Afghanistan. He lost both his legs blown off, and he lost his arm. So he has one arm, and he was making it was crazy to see. I mean, again, I know it's taped for television and stuff like that, but he's like. He's smiling. I'm like, dude, the guy has no legs and no arm. Like, I'd be like, just put a bullet in my head. But he's talking about life. He has kids. He has a wife, and he calls himself Lieutenant Dan from right. So Gary Sinise, who played Lieutenant Dan, has an organization where they build homes.
That's right.
For combat veterans, right?
Yep.
So Gary Sinise, they donate this house to this guy. So he gets to meet Gary Sinise, and he's like, Lieutenant Dan, they're like joking around. And then he's sitting, like he's showing his kitchen and how he can move around his Jazzy or his motorized thing and fit into places that they made for him. And in walks Brian Urlacher, and he doesn't know he's there. And he turns, and Brian Urlacher is standing right there, goes, whoa, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, oh, hey, nice to see you too. I just figured I'd give you 4 tickets to the Bears game and be on the sideline and stuff like that. And to see this grown man just like, he didn't break down, but you could tell he was getting emotional.
Yeah.
But like, that's the part where I'm just like, they need more things for guys who come back and they paid the ultimate sacrifice. The guy lost both his fucking legs and his arm, and no one cares.
Yeah.
They're worried about, what, I want to be a cat today, or, I think I'm a man, I might be a woman,
Yep. Yeah.
That means shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
compared to that,
you got you guys going around the world,
right.
taking all them. I can't wait to meet him. Well, if you have time, I'd love to.
Yeah,
both of
dude.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that'd be a great connection. One thing we had, like when the garage door opens, everybody says, "Oh, the dog just hears the garage."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was what kind of doctor, some name I can't pronounce, whatever it is, correctly. And they had proven that the dog knows, like it knows the master's home like on the dog's watch.
Oh yeah,
he knows that's the master,
Yep.
that's the family. It has nothing to do with the garage and the door.
Yeah,
that's maybe like an intruder, but he knows his master's home and his family.
Yeah,
I just thought that was so interesting. With you working with dogs, what have you found with their feelings and how conscious are they? That I think they're a lot more conscious than people want to give to them. What have you found?
Well, I found that they're going to push the limit. They're going to push, they're going to fuck around. But I think once you start developing, like, and you have a structured dog, like you have something that, like, hey, it's the obedience is there, your tools, your like everything, it's task driven. You can really kind of see and bring out more of them, because it's like a light switch. You can turn it on and turn it off when you want to see it, when you don't, and some people just have these dogs where it's like, hey, yeah, they're running around. Oh, he's just trying to play. It's like, maybe not. Maybe he has so much anxiety built up from not being able to get worked or not having that mental
like actually
being worn down mentally,
Yeah.
you know, and just exhausted mentally, where it's like, that's why that dog is acting like that. Or just like, hey, I want to go do this. Or like, hey, yeah, I'm so excited to see you. Like my dog gets so excited when he gets a little teddy bear or whatever stuffed animal in his mouth. And he just starts running around the house. And it's just like, you know, I can, you know, tell him to, you know, stretch and do all this other stuff. But it's just like, it's just to see him and then bring him outside. It's like, we fuck with each other because it's kind of like we're the same, where he looks at me and he like kind of goes at me.
Yeah.
And then I'll go at him and then he comes back at me. And it's just like, it's one of those things.
give him a
where,
little tap. Yeah.
yeah. And, you know, it's, but as far as like how they feel, man, I don't anthropomorphize. So it's like, I'm not going to say, hey, my dog takes on these characteristics and he misses me and he does this.
Yeah, right.
Fact is this. And it's, you drop dead in that house and nobody's there to feed that dog, it's going to eat you.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So as far as the feeling goes, it's an animal at the end of the day. And, you know, that's one of the premises that we try to teach some of the guys where it's like, look, don't, like, yes, we want you to be emotionally attached, but also be able to separate that, because I want this thing to be like the chainsaw that you need to go cut down this tree, or I want this to be the circular saw that you need, or the pry bar, or this or that. I want you to shape this tool into what you need. And that's what makes us a little bit different from a lot of other organizations, is like, I'm not just giving you a dog and then having this, oh my God, like, yeah, the dog. Like, no, dude, go work it. Let's go show you. Let's go do this. Put the correction on. Why didn't you correct right there? Why didn't you, you know? So you kind of give them, you know, that understanding of like, yeah, you're going to love the dog when you want to, but it's like, let's work, master the work of the dog first.
That's a great
master the dog. And then,
and remember, it's a dog, not a human.
But give him the love that he needs.
Yeah.
Like, don't not give him love. Don't think like, oh, I'm going to be this rigid, you know, fucking Gestapo. It's like, nah, dude, like, find out what is the least amount that I have to give you. And then if I show you too much love, dial it back. Like, it's okay to say, all right, let's
don't spoil the fucker.
Yeah, no more snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll fast my dog where, you know, a couple days a week and make, it's like, dude, he's 10 years old and he gets around better than half the biscuit buses that I see walking around, where it's like one dog.
They go with the scoop and they just go, all right, see you after work.
Solo cup.
Yeah.
He's on one cup. Like,
yeah. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Breaking news, Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shave your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using code MSCS Media for 20% off and free shipping. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all the stubble trouble with Manscaped's Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a monster of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. No more messing around in drawers, this color one, that color one, all with one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower and avoid all that hair in the sink. The Pro Kit doesn't end there, though. First, there's the beard shampoo and conditioner. You need to remember your hair is different. Next, Manscaped's beard oil. Cap it off with beard balm. The Pro Kit also comes with 3 different gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code MSCS Media at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code MSCS Media.
Okay.
And then meanwhile, I'm like, here's a bag of Doritos because I didn't feed you earlier.
Exactly. You know, biscuit away from diabetes. It's just like, what are we doing?
Now, you saved our country. The only thing I could say is rescue dogs never bite me.
Yeah.
Because I'm good with dogs, actually. I'm very slow.
Yeah.
And I know that they're, like, if they have a problem with a guy, you know, like, I know I just go very slow, let them smell me.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I have a maniac at home now.
Yeah.
He's just a maniac. And when I'm on the treadmill or if I do pull-ups, he tries to bite my legs. And I just go, calm down.
Yeah.
And this is his thing. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And after 3 days, now he knows.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have had to get tossed once or twice, but he's all right. Yeah. He's all right.
Put him on the treadmill next time. Yeah. Strap him up to the treadmill.
Oh, he got on the treadmill and ran.
Yeah.
And ran into a wall, got up, didn't matter. The other dog thought that the back door is clear.
Yeah.
Ran right
so
into
funny.
the fucking thing.
And they really are show dogs. So they're fast as hell.
Yeah.
So my other one didn't realize at the moment, because he's chasing the other one, that there's a window there.
Yeah.
And goes full speed at the window. Bang, head first, didn't even daze him.
Yeah.
Got right back up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you should have been a fighter.
Yeah.
You came to this world the wrong way.
Yep.
Do you have any personal success stories? I mean, I know there's probably some, maybe, or things that people have said to you, like, man, this dog really helped me, like this, and made you just think, like, yeah, this is why I'm doing this, man. This is why I continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And that that's why I do it. Right. It's to keep the dude. It's to keep your brothers out of the ground. And I when I say brothers and all this, it's, I mean, women who fought too. Like this is a brotherhood in that sense of, like, this is people who I am directly attached to for the, for life at this point. But, from a standpoint of, from an organizational standpoint, like, these people we're attached to, like, we're trying to see them succeed in every facet of their life. And whether that means if they're an entrepreneur, they're business, whatever, wherever we can make them, find that fulfillment, I'm going to do whatever I can. Like, it doesn't cost me much to share some's post. It doesn't cost me fucking anything but just like, share. That's it. 2 seconds. Like, what? Yeah. Why can't people do, like, but it's, I have, and it's always, it's humbling, because it's just like, yeah, dude, like, no worries, man. Like, you don't fucking have to say that. Like,
like, I don't want it.
I don't want to hear it. Like, just,
I'm happy.
Yeah. Like,
I'll be more happy if you keep going at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work, see the benefits. And that's what's going to make me happy. You continuing to strive and continuing to push yourself and continuing to be a better person, just every day, do one thing better.
That's great, man. And then what originally made you want to go into the military?
I was going to be owned by one or two institutions, and I chose this one.
Well, all right. When you put it that way,
I was an asshole, dude, as a young kid.
Pretty much true.
Yeah,
I mean, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So, for me, I was, I knew I didn't want to be back, like, something about it was just like, I got to get out of here. Like, this isn't for me. Like, this isn't my thing. And I went to the recruiting office and I was like, all right, Army, I want 10 grand. They're like, nope. I was like, okay, peace, Marines. What do I sign up? And they're like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't think you understand me correctly. Like, staffs aren't, like, yeah. Where do I just sign the paper? I want to be gone as soon as possible. Like, I don't know what more. And he busts out these, I think there were like these 12 fucking, do you want to travel? Do you want to do this? I'm like, bro, like,
I just told you, send me tomorrow.
I'm looking around the office. Like, does this guy not hear what I'm saying? Like,
he's just like, put me wherever. Get me out of here.
And so then the head recruiter came out and he's like, he just give him the fucking contract. Like, we got to give him the mess. We got to do this. We got to do that. And I was just like, all right. So did all that stuff. Yeah, that was it.
Did you go through, what's the one we always at Buds? Is it called Buds?
No, that's SEALs.
That's the hell.
No,
right?
I went Marine Corps. So
what's the hell in the Marine Corps?
What the fuck was it? I think it was, no, it was, wow. Having a brain fart. The, Mothers of America had a problem with it. It was the Crucible.
The Crucible.
Yeah. It was a couple of days spent, being up at night. And it wasn't that, but you get 2 hours of sleep over 2 days. That's nothing. Right. Now it's nothing, because it's like, oh man, I've been on details where it's like I'm up for 4 or 5 days. And I'm just like, fuck, I'm starting to, like, I gotta sleep. Mm-hmm. I gotta go to bed. But yeah, it was it was a unique experience. You're seeing people who are there from different countries, and it was just like, you show up and these dudes, it's just like, it's nonstop. You get there, you get on the footprints, you go, you make your phone call, and then next day you're getting the worst fucking haircut that you could possibly imagine, where they're literally scalping you, and the fucking razor where it's like so hot, you're just like, oh damn, dude, like,
and they nick you. It's like,
peace,
tough shit.
Yeah.
You're worried about a nick, pal? No.
Yeah, and then they set the showers up, so every shower is cold as fuck, hot as fuck, cold as fuck, hot as fuck, all the way down, and you're just like, and then you got like soap all over you, so you're just like, I'm just fuck this, like, it just splash water on me, then walk out and just dry off. But it was cool, because what the Marine Corps is amazing at breaking you down and just rebuilding you and just making you into a fucking war machine. And they have this, they do the worst job as far as like rehabbing it back, where it's like, why? Like they're not supposed to, you know, it's like, this is that job of that person, you know? So, for me, the experience was great. You know, I had growth, you know, throughout it. It was, the challenges that were there, it was just cool. And then going to the fleet, the next step after that, or then you go to your schools and all that shit, and then you go to the fleet, where it was just, meeting new people all over again. You know, I had to pick a duty stations. I was like, instead of going to California, I was like, I'm going to go to, you know, North Carolina.
Good choice.
That was a fucking miserable choice.
Okay, bad idea.
Bad idea.
I mean, I was kind of thinking, that's
Yeah.
right, you're in the
Should've went
military.
to
You're
Pendleton,
not hanging out.
Dude, Jacksonville, North Carolina is the, ugh.
Why? Why? I love to hear these stories. Why it's horrible.
It's just, it's
funny because every
has
you know, vet, when they talk about a bad place, they go,
Yeah.
it's the same exact facial expression.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, it's a fucking sight. It's a sight for sore. It's just, yeah, it'll open your eyes for sure.
Wake you up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the smelling salt.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
One of my first hotel parties I went to, I walked in, opened the door, and all I see, one dude I don't know who's going to be listening to this, but one dude's getting a blowjob in a closet. The other dude's got a freaking Corona bottle upside down in this chick's ass. And I'm just like,
cool.
what's fucking going on here, guys? I was like, I got to get out of this.
Preparing for war.
Yeah.
Right? You know, getting it out.
Everybody's just all fucked up, slamming beers, like, it's fucking great, isn't it? Like, I guess. Like, so just
what was your first deploy where you left the country? I mean, I saw Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yeah, so Iraq was my first deployment.
Now, what is that like? You know, when you hear, like, you wanted to go the day you walked in.
Yeah.
But when you realize, like, you're going to go, like, away, at that time, did you have family, girlfriend, anything like that?
No, didn't have a girlfriend. And you know, it was like, all right, cool. We're going. Yeah,
you're already built at that time, right?
I think you do so much training, like, you know, you get rid of the anxiety of it. And once you do your workup and you're doing all your prep, and, you know, everything is I guess where it's going to be, because, you know, Mike Tyson said it best, where it's like, you know, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, right? So, you know, we had the basics of what we needed, and, you know, at that time we were, I think, the 4th unit that strolled into Fallujah, and then we got there September 2005, and we were cruising down. It was basically the day we landed. We ended up getting in country, and we were on our 7 tons, probably like fucking 3:00 in the morning, and it was my 21st birthday. So that was my
happy birthday.
Yeah, that was my experience, right?
Yeah, well, that's what you wanted.
Yeah. Instead of going to Vegas like everybody else,
you're fucking Iraq,
I'm fucking at Fallujah, Iraq. Like, fuck.
You're in Sandville.
Yeah, here we go. And then you just the smell. I've only been hit with it a couple times.
The deodorant.
No,
that
just
they don't wear.
Yeah,
no,
not even that. But it's like the stench of just flesh and just fucking garbage, and just you're just like, fuck.
So when you got there, was that the atmosphere? Just
everything was just leveled, like it should have been.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there was
flattened.
There was built. I mean, there's obviously still a lot of homes and stuff like that, but, you know, Marines prior to that, they went through and they did a good job as far as, you know, knocking down what they needed to knock down. So
now you're in Iraq, and let's say like a day where there's some action.
Mm-hmm.
Take us through a day of some action and what you're doing. It's not just like a day where you're just like sitting there.
Yeah,
if
no.
there were any of those.
So I was the head RTO or the junior RTO on that time of the first deployment.
Congratulations,
and,
first deployment.
Yeah. So you know, for me, it was just a lot of logistics. I was every logistics run that we could do. I was, you know, the driver for the company gunny. And then anytime I was also the medevac driver.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
When you're doing logistics like that, that is extremely, extremely an important role, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you're just driving around, picking up chow and moving people back and forth, because where we were at a train station.
Well, I thought you were like scoping things out.
We would do that too, but as far as like for what we did, we'd be under nods, from 3 a.m. we'd start doing our runs, and then we wouldn't finish up till 8 o'clock, and then we'd go get, we were in the city quite a bit.
What do you eat there? What do you eat in Iraq? Like, what do they feed you in Iraq?
Taco Tuesday. And then
they got Taco Tuesday in Iraq?
Taco Tuesday in Iraq.
Really?
Steak and lobster on fucking
Get the hell
Fridays.
out of here.
Yeah.
Really?
In Iraq,
In
they have
Iraq.
steak and surf and turf?
Surf and turf on Fridays.
Is it better than here?
No.
No?
It's a landlocked land, dude.
Oh, I never know.
Yeah,
I
where's it
thought
coming from?
maybe it was fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the premise was
Fresh from
there.
the ground
Yeah.
that for a body. It's probably not even
Right?
It's probably somebody's liver. Anyway.
And then I'm trying to think. There was some days where like beef stroganoff and all, just some of it was just shit, like disgusting. But that's all we had. We'd eat MREs if we had to. But that's another fantastic.
And isn't the water? You can't drink the water there.
Well, we always had bottled water.
Bottled water.
Yeah, and then they introduced Rippets, and then Rippets was like this energy drink that they had out
Rippets.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had those in Pakistan.
Well,
Or
Iraq, yeah.
Iraq,
Yeah.
Iraq, yeah.
So they had that in Iraq, and those things you drink at like 130 degrees because none of the ACs worked in the vehicles ever. They just blew out dust and sand and fucking everything else.
The one that you're in?
The one that we're in, yeah.
What the
AC never
fuck?
worked. Yeah, we didn't even have the body armor that we had for the vehicles, or the up armor that we had for the vehicles were sandbags, and then we took these Kevlar blankets and just ratchet strapped the Kevlar blankets around the high back of the
That's
Humvee.
really fucked up. Do you think Ukraine has air conditioner?
Oh, probably.
Oh.
Yeah, they got-
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's really fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, dude. It was.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And then, like, where do you guys sleep?
So we had like these huts. So I think there was probably 10 of us in a room, or 10 of us in like our little hut, like bunk beds and shit like that. So accommodation and stuff like that. That was it was what it was. We had a gym. We had porta shitters, and the first couple of weeks is rough because everybody's getting dysentery.
Yeah.
Everybody's puking shit and fucking trying to run, and then you're trying to figure out how many times you gotta get the shits all the way up to the top of the fucking toilet.
Oh,
so you sit on the toilet and like fuck. So Hep C was relevant.
Wow. Yeah. And how many hours of sleep were you guys getting?
It depended on what the op tempo was like for that week, and what platoon was on, and what we were doing, and just what needed to get done, from higher up. So
I never run it. Like, when you guys were really at it, and you got to stay up for 3-4 days straight,
Yeah.
and be aware.
yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah.
Well, you're trained.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So give me a good story in Iraq. One that could have went really bad, that went well, that ended up okay, or was Iraq kind of, when you got there, kind of just cleaning things up, or what was that whole experience like?
It was. I guess it was the first deployment was much different from the second deployment. We took a lot of, I don't want to say took a lot of, we took casualties for both, but it was definitely different the first time, because it was at that point where it was kind of like anybody who had a weapon, it was still, hey, they changed the ROEs a little bit, but they were starting to allow anybody who basically had GSR or a weapon you could kill, or if you pucked them, whatever, basically something happened, an incident happened, you line everybody up, you start swabbing hands, because most of the time, dude, the buildings were so close, these dudes were just fucking, they were gone. They were, they knew their area better than we did. They were throwing pigeons up, and basically if your team, your patrol was making a movement, they'd throw up the number of pigeons that were in each of that patrol, just so whoever else was just spotting on top of the roof would be able to see you.
Those fucking pigeons.
And they would probe. They would definitely. They'd send this one dude who is special needs up to the main gate to see, hey, what are we gonna do and how are we gonna do it? Like, dude comes up, like, are we gonna just shoot this kid, or what are we what are we gonna do? But some of the other stuff where they're handing out these plastic guns. I think at that time there were like these little MP5s that were just had lasers on them, and it's just like, you're in a patrol, it's kind of dusk.
Fuck.
You're creeping around, then you see this little fucking kid coming around the corner and just points a fucking weapon system at you, and you just got a laser, and you're just like, you got to, like,
like, you know, you're in a real tough
Yeah.
situation
So,
there. And they know that, the pricks, you know?
yeah, I mean, it's all the propaganda that they were trying to spread, and everything about us being the infidel, and you know what, you know, it's, but you know, I think that, that in a nutshell just goes to show, like, you know, that they don't, the moral compass there is.
Right. I wanted to ask you, having been there, because I met a guy and he got a gazillion years and he got out on that habeas corpus thing or whatever. And I talked to him, you know, and it made me look at things a little bit different. And I don't know if it does you, but they're born to hate America. So they don't know any better. Like the day that they come out, for instance, this guy was from Afghanistan, and he was just, you know, brainwashed to hate America. America's then he knew no better.
Yeah.
So whatever he did, he did. It was horrible what he did in America. He did a bunch of time, and then when I talked to him, he had such a admiration for America. He loved it. He was, in my opinion, he was truly really apologized, and you know, what are you going to say to what he did? But he didn't make any excuses. He had just explained that when you're born there, this is all you know.
Yeah.
So then he thinks that he's doing this for, you know, whoever he particularly was praying to. So he's thinking that this is why I'm here and this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
Then when it happened and he realized what America was, you know, in jail for a long time, he was like, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know? Do you ever have that feeling like those guys over there doing that nut stuff, and you have to protect yourself and do what you have to do, but at the same time, these people are just born into a bad situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at it. You know, what do they do? You know, you bang your first cousin for so many years, over generations and generations. You're gonna have this ancestral line that's all fucked up, right? And it's like, it's not, you know, it's, and that's just like being, I guess, very jaded in understanding those folks.
Good analogy.
But it's like, what do you expect? You know, and it's the irony is, yeah, they developed algebra. Right?
Yeah.
Cool, sweet. But then, you know, didn't a Jew write the Quran? So it's like, you kind of fucking balance this shit out. You're just like, dude, I don't even, like, this is, wow. Yeah, it's like, I'm just out there like, all right, man, like, I don't fucking know what's going on anymore with this world. Like, it's, just be a good person. Right. Do, you know, just be a good human being. You know, if you see somebody who needs help, go help them. You know, but
it doesn't work like that.
I guess with that, you know, with that whole scene, you know, it's like, yeah, I think education is huge, and you know, the way they oppress some of the people, and just, you know, what the amenities are, and just the upbringing, you know, it's
you don't really have it. You're just born into a.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, right?
You know, and it's nobody's fault, but it's like, how do you, like, dude, they're looking at fucking helos being in the air, like, those are spaceships. Like, it's, you know, you see something like, what the fuck is this? What is that? You know, it's, you know, like, so yeah, I think it's sad, because it's like, if they did have the education, if they did do this, and you know, if there was a, you know, a point where they could cut that ancestral line, who knows? You know, but not my circus, not my monkey.
Nah, we always say this: if they just had like one religion, there wouldn't be any money to be made, but there would probably not be near as many wars, if any.
If there was no religion, there's the same thing too, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. No religion.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, everything's about religion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But it is, you know, it is what it is. Now, how was going there the second time different?
It was, so the second time, it's like you're trying to rebuild, like you're trying to show them
mode.
Yeah, so you're in stage 2. You're just trying to say, like, hey, we're here to help you. We're going to give you these soccer balls, rice. We're going to be less hands-on, less kinetic in that sense.
Was that a good idea at that time?
I mean, it's all part of the chess game and what they need. Show who you need to show, and make sure the tribal leaders see all that they need to see. Make sure that it's like, you know, you want to build them up, because now you're trying to, you know, pivot the good ones who are seeing the good in what you're doing, and like, hey, wait, we're all cool. Like, don't fuck with us. We won't fuck with you. And, you know, we're going to give you all this stuff and help pick up garbage, and we're going to pay you. You know, so I think
like showing how life could be.
Yeah. And I think the design work of it was, you know, it was timely, but it was like, you know, everybody that we just tossed into prison out there, they were coming out when we got there. So it was just like, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Hi. Time to go.
Yeah. And then they were starting to allow, if they were military age males, which were, between 10 and whatever, they could start carrying weapons again.
10 is in 10 years old?
Yeah. So that's a military age male.
Right.
So you look at it, people are like, oh, no way, my 10-year-old kid. Like, no, over there.
Machine gun, Mac 10, what do you want, buddy?
Yeah. So,
10 birthday. Mac 10 for your 10th birthday.
And, you had to be cool with, all right, well, before there was no guns, and this is what we could do. Now it's ROEs are changing. The battlefield plan was diversifying. Afghanistan was still kind of happening in correlation, and then that started to get ramped up. And I think Afghanistan ramped up totally. It was, I think, 2009, 10, and then really into like 13, 14.
Sounds like a genius plan so far.
Well, then then it's like you continue moving forward, and then it's like you wind up with the end result of that stage 3 of pulling out of Mosul, and hey,
yeah.
That place was just fucking leveled.
And you got your wish. You ended up in Afghanistan too.
Yeah.
Now, how would you compare that Afghanistan to Iraq? First, just the atmosphere.
Atmosphere, Iraq, you could be killed pretty easily. Like, they knew how to kill you.
Really?
For sure.
More than Afghanistan.
Afghanistan's how to kill you too, but it would just take longer because they were very at least from our experience, and again, I wasn't military when I was in Afghanistan. I was a contractor. So the essence of what our mission was a whole different. We were spreading love and peace and butterflies at that point. We're protecting those that were trying to spread that message. And but from just the being around ISAF and seeing what was happening and seeing how things were going, it was very just kind of built on the time of the year, and it would just be forever. The ticks would just last longer than what it was in Iraq. Iraq, it was, our thing for our first deployment was, right around the time of the DC sniper.
Mm-hmm.
So they were mimicking those TTPs from what he was doing, shooting through a car at us, and then using automatic fire to cover so that dude could scoot out.
Jesus.
So we were just, hey, we would get a dude hit. The next thing you know, hey, now we got to engage over here. And it's just like, that was a whole different set of worms. Where over there it's just like, yeah, you're fucking wide open everywhere. It's not really a city. You're more rural, mountains, and just the terrain was totally different.
What's the terrain like?
Afghanistan, it's mountains. You're fucking it depends on where you're at, whatever the elevation is going to be, but you're at elevation.
And for you, that sucks because you could have snipers or anything anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And Iraq's more flat.
Well, Iraq was a little more flat, but it's also urban terrain. So you had buildings where people, hide fucking, in a vehicle if you wanted to, or hide 2 rooms deep, and you're not gonna see shit or hear shit.
Why did I? Because I remember, looking back. I just remember looking back and being like, we're still fucking in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like, why did that drag out so damn long? Is there any reason that or you just kind of...
I can speculate mineral rights.
Yeah, speculate. There you go. Yeah.
I can speculate mineral rights. It was a strategic location. It was a position. But, that's above my pay grade. For me, it was, I still had some gas in the tank where I wanted to go and be like, all right, well, I'm here now and I'm making money. Which was ultimately, all right, cool. I'm putting myself in a better position. And the iron.
This episode is brought to you by Fiji. More than just water.
This is not just rock. It's ancient volcanic rock that filters tropical rain, giving it double the electrolytes and its signature soft, smooth taste. It's not just water. It's Fiji water.
Of all that is like, I would come back from being overseas. My blood pressure, dude, was like 190 over like 110, 120.
Oh, buddy.
I go back down range and it was like 130 over 65. Like
absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
That's like absolutely perfect.
And I was just, and then I started seeing that. And I started paying attention to that because I'm a medic at this point. And I'm like, all right, what is this telling me? and I need to go, figure out what these stressors are, and really kind of identify some solutions to this problem, because when I'm home, I'm ready to just fucking
pop.
Yeah. And, even when it was around family, it was just difficult to kind of find that space where
balance.
Yeah.
And prior, you weren't like that prior to all this.
No. I mean, it was, after the first deployment was, that was,
opens your eyes. Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You lose some really close people, some close friends, and then it's like you come back and then you got dudes that are like, hey, I got a little bit more time left. I'm going to just go deploy with this next unit that's going back over here. And then you hear those dudes get smoked and it's just like, fuck. And then it's like kind of it brings back, because I've noticed like my sleep patterns definitely changed, or I wasn't really sleeping that well. And, I didn't find out until I think it was like 2018, when I found out I was like having anxiety and panic attacks at night, like when I was sleeping, because I was like, I'd wake up, I'm like, I'm so fucking hot, like
soaked,
like
chills,
oh God, why is it so hot in here?
Wet. Yeah.
And it wasn't like crazy dreams, but it was just like, fuck, like why am I sweating my ass off? And I was like, all right, I told my girlfriend at the time, like, hey, you're on the other side of the bed. I'm gonna sleep underneath this air duct that's blowing right down on me, and that kind of masked some of the situation, but
Band-aided.
Yeah. But it wasn't until I really kind of focused on my sleep and trying to get deeper sleep and positioning my body, or doing it. I mean, air filter was huge for me. It's like stopping for like sleep apnea that I had. Like I was like,
my sleep's a disaster.
So I did an air filter, dude, because I'm not putting a fucking mask on. Like,
no, that ain't happening.
That's not
if I have sleep apnea, no.
Yeah. So but I started using Breathe Right strips. I got my septoplasty done, and then I went and purchased a really good air filter, and then dude, like sleep like a baby.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No.
Then finding out the other big issue was like hormones and testosterone and all this other stuff that kind of plays into that, and that's another area that we try to look at. So every dude that comes in, or every person that comes in, the first step to do is like the medical aspect, where we draw blood, we're bringing you in, we're getting a baseline, we're identifying, hey, where are you deficient at? Awesome. And then from there, that's cool. We start building out a protocol for them, so that group, that wing of the organization can provide them with like, hey, start you on this protocol, and then from there, let us know how you feel, do X, Y, Z. We're hoping to get a grant.
You got to get that foundation right first, right?
Yeah,
you got to get that right.
Like what's going on inside you?
Right.
My testosterone should have been like 700. I was at 120.
Whoa.
So it's like, and then my growth hormone was like 25, 28. It should have been close to like 70 or 80.
Wow.
And it's like I was, and the way you look at it on the scale, it's like I was like a 90-year-old man.
Yeah.
27, 28 years old. Wow. My hormone, like, fuck, like, so.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I went in and my testosterone was 1,200.
Damn, that's awesome.
At 39, but I don't feel you would think so.
Yeah.
But then I had got because I don't go by some blood test that's delayed. I get the blood test and then I take it to like a doctor that I believe in.
Yeah.
So then I got my dad's blood done, his brother from before he passed, and then compared it to see what my hereditary is.
Yeah.
And my dad is 62 and he's 1,100.
Damn.
But I'm not walking around ready to nail this desk right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that. No, it's just like genetically.
Yeah.
So my 1,200 would be like a 600 normal. Like that's how, like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. I could, but I'm not ready to, go bang the TV right now or something,
Well, dude, I was at the point where I was like, I don't even, like, I'd rather jerk off than, I was just like, I'm whatever. Yeah. Like, this is,
120. Aren't you tired as hell?
Yeah, I was fucking lethargic. Wasn't getting any sleep.
No
eating
confidence.
Like shit. No, it was just like, here we go. Another day.
Yeah.
Yay, I'm here.
Did you ever, what caused it to go down that low? I mean, was it war, stress, or just who knows, huh?
I don't know at this point. I haven't done any I haven't done any of the brain scans at this point yet. That's something that we're hoping to be introducing here pretty soon, is being able to do some diagnostics with what's currently not accessible or as readily accessible as it should be. So we're looking into ways that we can adapt to that area of deficiency, and that is a focus, because it's like there's more guys that are feeling the same way, where it's like you have this brain fog. It's like, why? Let's find out why. And hopefully, we'll be able to run this thing 24/7, because it's like, for me, it's like, dude, I want this thing to look like fucking Chernobyl on a map with, just an MRI machine just going nonstop.
Yeah, what doesn't the general public realize? You hear about the not the VFW, the hospital. What's it called for veterans?
The VA.
The VA. Sorry. You think, oh well, they have the VA. They can go to the VA and they can get help. But without bashing the VA, but what aren't veterans getting? Like, what is missing? There's a lot. I take it, right?
You're not getting the competitive doctors that you would from like Jupiter Medical Center,
right,
or JFK or any of these other larger institutions that pay the premium to have that high-end doctor that's there, because those doctors also start lobbying and they start bringing in more funding and they start doing all this other shit that really kind of just
lobbying bullshit.
But it's, they're able to network, they're able to bring in a ton of money to where they're working at, to their workplace. That's why they get the premium. That's why you're seeing guys that are, getting $400 or $500 an hour based on being paid for their specialty. And I think, and all those terms and conditions, those are all contracts. So I think doctors work, and, timeline, I don't want to get, nailed to the cross on this for, misinformation, but it's really like 2 up to 4 years.
I'll say it's all misinformation, and it's fucking bullshit. And these PCPs are all paid off. Even if it's your doctor for 20 years, he's most likely got the hook, because they go to them and they say, do you want your doctor's license? Okay. Thank you.
Some are, some not, but it's like these still.
Yeah, there's some that hold strong.
You have to recruit these doctors.
Yeah.
Right. How do I get the best neuroscientist or just neurologist to my hospital? What's the package I put in front of them? And then how do I have him speak? How do I have him talk about what he's doing? How do I give him the grant funding? How do I give him the research that he needs so he can develop other aspects of this? Like, because it's just there's so much that's involved with it. And then
lacking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the VA doesn't it's designed to be a just umbrella and one size fits all kind of approach to, let's see how and who needs this. Let's put them through the motions. Let's see this. The more you show up, there's going to be people like, fuck this. I don't need this. I'm out of here.
When I would go with John to the VA, I don't want to say this wrong, but it just seemed like, okay, these men and women, they are having trouble in society, so let's just jam them in here and put them in this building. Mm-hmm. That's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, and look at the demographics, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And it's again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where it's like you have these, people who are enlisting to get away from something that they may or may not have dealt with. Some are coming in with traumas that never really even cared or asked or whatever. And then you put them through all of this stuff, you indoctrinate, you make them into this warrior, this fighter on anything, on either branch, whatever. And then when you're done, that's it.
But you're still a machine that kills.
Yeah,
right?
But that's it. You're done.
Right,
see you later.
You're done.
Like you're gone.
Like no, like we're not going to help you turn off the switch.
No, it's figure it out.
Figure it out yourself, buddy.
Yeah, good luck.
It's not.
Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Like, what I mean?
I when we had Vivek on, I said, what do you think about the stem cells, whether it's a vet, whether it's an athlete? Why does someone who's in America, why do they have to go to Portugal, Colombia to get stem cells, proper treatment? Yeah. Maybe it's mushrooms, maybe it's NAD, whatever it may be. Why do they have to go to another country to get this treatment.
I liked his response.
And his response, if you want to tell.
Yeah, that was good.
He was like, his response was, that shouldn't be happening. That when if he gets in there, that he's the executive. And I didn't realize this. I should have. Yeah. He is the president, so he's the boss. So he can't just go fire you, but he can do a mass layoff. So he can go in there, and anyone in the FDA, he can, that wants to, basically his whole thing is
you work
mass layoff, you work for me, stem cells, here. Testing, here. You don't have to go to another country. All here, and this stops the bullshit with big pharma.
Well, and he said that's your right too. If you want to spend the money, or through whatever, and use stem cells or whatever it may be, that's your choice. That's your body.
Yeah,
you do that.
Yeah,
but someone shouldn't tell you that you can't do that. You have to take this pill though.
Yep.
We're gonna tell you. But that was pretty amazing when he said.
Do you know
that.
Mike Sorelli?
I don't.
Okay, he's like he did NAD, but not the NAD in the way that they do it in the U.S. with the IV.
Yep.
He did the NAD the way it's prescribed in Portugal, 30 days straight. Mike needed, he was in a situation. He did that. Now that in Portugal. Now that cost him $500, and it completely fixed him in I mean, not completely, but it got him on the right track in 30 days.
Yep.
But you can't do that here.
Yeah.
That's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Band-aids.
Band-aids.
No, I did stem cells, and I had an issue with my foot, and hamstrings, back, neck, all this other shit. I was able to get it done, and it changed my life in that sense, where like I regained functional movement. I was able to do more stuff. Like it was just like it worked. And then as you alluded to, even with some of the psychedelic industry. I spoke at PsyCon out in Denver just on what it did for me, and that alone too truly was the start point or the initial point of where I was able to start recognizing some of my behavioral patterns and what I was doing that was a detriment as opposed to being something that was more constructive to bringing me to the next space and being able to communicate and all that other stuff. And then, being able to microdose, that I am totally down with.
Total game changer. And
totally.
We've seen it. We've seen guys, microdose, some other psychedelics, and totally change them.
Well, it was the first time that I could stop the subconscious thought. Like that fucking squawk box that just does not shut off.
Like lost the ego.
Yeah.
Gone.
Well, the ego came with, that was when I did 5-MeO. That was where that was like.
Is that the Tyson toad?
That's a toad, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh, boy, you got to tell me about that one. Because Mike, Mike lives and dies by that one.
That was a ride.
And I'll tell you two things about Mike. Mike is one smart motherfucker, and I still wouldn't want to fuck with him. I don't care who you are.
Did you see that one sparring session he did?
Yes.
Dude, I was like, fuck that. He still got it.
You saw it, right?
Yeah.
He's sparring hard, 8 rounds, and then did you see him hit that bag?
Punch.
And it was 96 pounds from Mike Tyson.
That'd be a vegetable.
Yeah.
And he's still smoking weed.
Yeah.
He said if he doesn't smoke weed, he goes crazy.
Yeah.
So he's hitting that at 90. Imagine saying, Mike, no weed for a week. Come on in the ring.
Yeah.
Which one? Come on.
Dana White, get him a fight.
Yeah. Paul, come on.
Yeah.
You'll be about 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, it was a game changer, man. I was absolutely
petrified.
Could you take us through that? Yeah. It was undisclosed location where I went, and it was with a buddy of mine, and it was something that I sought after. It spent probably close to 5 or 6 years kind of looking into it, and then obviously taking steps of progressions of like microdosing and acid, all it like just like, all right, hey, cool. Let me see where I'm at with this. And I was doing it in a way of, what it was as far as very therapeutic. It wasn't like I'm fucking partying, I'm at a festival or anything like that. For me, it was very conscious of like, hey, this is my intent. This is my thought. This is where I'm going with this. And, here's my little group, my little tribe.
Well, you talk to a shaman and you use that to get high. He will have a long talk with you that this is a special thing not to be messed with.
For sure. And totally not to be fucked with.
So the microdosing, if someone's listening or watching, What did the microdosing do for you?
It kind of it turned the lights on.
Turn the lights on a little bit. Sure.
Yeah. Like it made me recall things. It helped me kind of gather perspective. It helped me kind of reduce the amount of outburst. When it really just kind of helped mellow me out. I want to say
It didn't dumb me down though.
no. It was kind of like Adderall a little
Okay.
bit. Like if anybody's ever taken Adderall,
Yeah.
whatever for tests or whatever. And I thought I had ADHD, and that's
Like
why I was
I take Modafinil. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Provigil.
Yeah,
yeah. Every day
Yeah,
for the
I've
last
tried- yeah, 'cause-
20 years
yeah.
I've taken it.
Yeah. So that was it. It was
Prescribed.
it's like $30 or $8 a pill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be.
And I used to get fucking. I used to be able to find it for like $20 for 100.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. I remember when in 2002 I first started taking it. Right, my friend. I went to the doctor. It was $1.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started prescribing it off label for
Yeah.
what everyone else knew in Wall Street what could do. All of a sudden, Provigil
Yeah.
is $9 a
It's
pill.
crazy how
Yeah.
that works.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I
That's
was
wild,
just
dude.
here.
Yeah.
And then, like you, but a long time ago,
Yeah.
I still had my prescription and got a discount, and fine. But fuck, did that go up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I started doing the microdose. It just kind of clicked and put the lights on. And it wasn't until I had to do some deep dives. Like you gotta kind of go into that world, into like, and just like, all right, well, let me see what I got to see, open heart, open mind. Let me just let go of shit. And then spending a couple sessions, doing that is when I started recognizing like that subconscious thought was off. I was able to be around family. I was having fun. I was enjoying them again. I wasn't trying to find a fight. I wasn't feeling
That was just from the microdosing.
that was more of like experience of doing dives on top of the microdosing.
Wow.
So the microdosing, I kind of don't want to, I'll do it, but I don't want to have my body get adjusted or accustomed to it and like kind of
Put weight on it.
meet that threshold of like, all right, this is all you're going to get from it. So it's like I try to vary it for just what I need and what I feel because of how in tune I am with myself at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But then, that was probably a couple years I did that. And then it was more research, like, cause I first started, researching into ayahuasca and looking at that, which I haven't done ayahuasca yet.
That one's an interesting one.
Yeah. I was just like, what can I do? That's like,
You better ready for that one.
yeah.
That one and the other one that Graham Hancock. What's the other one called?
Yeah.
It's the
Abogaine.
Yeah, I think
That's when you throw up for sure first.
Well, I mean,
There's a few.
There's a few of them, but like for me, there was a purge when I did 5-MeO. There was a lot of just, the handshake felt like getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson. I was like, that was a light dose. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, I was here, but then I was like everywhere, and it was like so.
Okay, so the 5-MeO. Let's just get to that because we want to know. All right, so you've decided today's the day for the 5-MeO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this was the weekend of 5-MeO. This is the extensive retreat of fucking
The extensive retreat.
Yeah.
Okay, so day one, you're there.
Yep.
Take us through it.
Day one, they just kind of went around, introduce yourself, and here, this is my reason, and it went into really kind of all right, you kind of figure out new people and new vibe, and that was something that you don't know somebody, or you just kind of like you're just very in tune with what's around you, and then we build our things, our little pipes, and then we sit down in our little circle. Everybody gets a bucket, and it's like, hey, all right, well,
What's the bucket?
for vomiting, throwing up, like purging.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you're fucking just, you're going at it. And from there it was like, all right, they'll dose you up, and then they just
Smoke it by 3 hits, 1 hit.
one hit,
Wow.
empty all your air out of you, and then fucking when you have that full lung capacity, just all the way in, hang on to it for like 10 seconds, and then see ya.
And then what happens when you exhale? Like, I mean, literally step as most descriptive as you can.
You just kind of go through this fragmented dimensional space, and these just everything is kind of just it's like an ebbs and flow you're kind of up, then you're down, then you're going through all the, you're like, what the and I'm
colors,
thinking to myself,
a lot of colors? Or not really?
No. Not too much. For me, it was more of like kind of like seeing this like clouded space and these fractals, and I really, it was for me the first couple times. Like it was like, dude, I was fucking petrified. Like I was like almost ready to like, no, I'm not doing this shit no more. Like I don't want to end. Like I don't. Right. I was just getting vibes from like some of the group where I was like, I'm not feeling this. Like not my fucking people.
So it was like an emotional roller coaster more.
Because you're trying to let go, right? Like
you're fighting.
And I was, and then that's the ego. Like, no, don't let go. You want to hang on to this, and it's just like I didn't know what it was. Like, hey, let go. Like just go. Wow. So the first couple times that was rough, and it was just like vomiting. And for me, it felt like
mind space and who you're around is so important.
Super important.
Yeah,
super important. And the shaman, he's going around, he's blowing tobacco on you, trying to release those spirits and all this other shit that's around you, and it was really just kind of bottom end of a bucket for the first 2 days, like. And then my deep dive was just black, and there was like this little white spot, like way out there. And then that when I got up from that, I was just like, whoa. And I think I kind of came out of it too soon because I wasn't able to fall back in. But it was like,
so on that one you did it, and
it was a heavier dose. Like it was almost, I think it was like almost a gram in total of the toad, where it was like. And it was like, all right, you're gonna like this is gonna knock you down. And I was just kind of like, I'm like, and it was just like, boom.
And all you saw was a white spot.
Yeah.
No emotions, no feelings, no nothing.
No, when I got out, it was just like everything was shut off. Like I was like, okay, well that happened. Like this was the piece I was looking. Was like, was this it? Like was this the? Like,
wow.
The crossing, was this my?
How long was that?
They said I was out. Like I don't want to say I was unconscious, but I was like fucking.
I mean, are you sitting there like this, or you're like
you're laying down? You're laying down,
eyes closed.
Yeah,
like you're fucking.
And how long were you out for?
About 15, 20 minutes.
How long did it feel? For you and your in time, and
shit,
if you were to say like hours or no.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, that's hard to remember.
Right,
but it was it.
Did it seem 15 minutes or seem longer than 15 minutes? It's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not really.
Yeah. You're in that zone.
It was somewhere, dude.
Yeah. Somewhere. Yeah.
It was just a heavy lift, and following that, it was another couple short, like smaller amounts, like kind of like the handshake stuff, and it was just like that's when I was just kind of like. After I had gone outside, so once you get out of your deep dive, you go outside and you kind of experience, what daylight looks like and where we're at. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. It's like you could see the clouds, you could see the,
so when you come out of that white spot and you go out, what does your body feel like? What is your mind thinking? Are you just like at
you're just in this super like
Zen?
Fractal like dimensional space where you're just kind of like
even after you're still a little like
you're still kind of have
in there,
it's in you, and it's still working itself. And like I said, for me, I didn't fall back in, so like the biggest thing is again, it's kind of like mushrooms when you take a dose where you're up and down, you're up, you're down, and then it kind of as you get further into the 4 to 6 hour range you're like it tapers off, right? So this was just like, all right, kind of think I was like, all right, I can walk, I can move, I can do that, like get up, get outside, like it's over. Where I should have probably just like laid back and tried to relax because it wasn't as intense. So then it was just seeing outside and like feeling the mud and feeling different, shit against your body. So that was pretty much the intense moment there. And then you started doing, again, you go back, you do smaller doses, dude. I'm just like, I'm like, I'm like, no shit, dude. I was fucking petrified. I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm looking at my buddy. I'm like, dude, you sure? He's like, I'm like, fuck. Like, I don't want to, man.
Had you done DMT prior to the Toad, or
Once,
you went right
a couple
to the
times?
Toad?
No, it was.
I was gonna say that.
So I didn't really get much out of the DMT. Like, I had like the dose that I did with DMT. Like, it was just really kind of, again, geometrical figures, shapes. Like, that was more of like having a background TV on, meditative music, and just like, all right, here we go. Like, whoosh. Like, and that was smooth.
Was there a take from that when you were done?
No, yeah, there was. There was the one vivid thing was like there was a mountain that was on fire. It looked kind of like a Mortal Kombat scene, and it looked like there was, you know, just a leaf blower, and it was just fucking blowing on this thing, and I was just like,
what does that mean?
To me, it was like I had the fire lit on both ends. Is what I took from that.
Interesting.
Because I was trying to do so much, and I wasn't, and there was too much of I don't want to say it was definitely an ego thing, but it was at the same time, it's like I was trying to do it. Don't be a pussy.
You were trying to take on way too much.
Yeah.
Be Superman and do it all. Not that you were trying to be cool. It's just that you were doing too much.
Yeah.
Now, when you realized that was the message from it, did you know right away when you were done? Like, do you soak in the message right away, or does it take a little bit to realize what happened?
It definitely takes you a little
bit.
Because it's like, you know, someone just showing up with fucking 500 dump trucks and dumping shit on your lawn and saying, all right, go grade that. You're like,
yeah,
where do I begin?
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
So for me, that time, you know, and this was more towards the 5-MeO. The DMT thing was very kind of light because it wasn't such a heavy dose. Because again, this was more of like, all right, let me see small as
build
enough,
your way up.
build my way up.
Yeah.
Let me see where we're at with this and how it affects me, and can I handle that space, or is there more work that I have to do somewhere in my life before I can continue on with it? And you know, getting into, you know, the 5-MeO, that was more of like, all right, you know, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Like, that's the dude you're going to see. Yeah. Like, that person there. And then, you know, following all of that, there was 3 to 3.5 days of just every day, sun up, sun down, work through your shit. I finally had a couple breakthroughs where I was able to let some stuff go. And, you know, I ended up seeing some images, and that's where I kind of like, I saw this dog. And, you know, I was just like, is that a coyote? Is that a wolf? What the fuck was this? And, you know, I get home, and mind you, now I have to fly home. So I didn't book my flight like I probably should have. Like, give me a couple days later.
You didn't know like what you were going to do.
Fucking no idea, dude.
Oh, you had no idea.
No idea what the fuck this was gonna like. I thought once it was done, it was done. Now now I have to go to the fucking airport, and now I'm like around like normal people, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Who are these aliens? Like, I'm sitting here like, fuck me. I have to fly now, and then I'm getting into my own space of like, damn, I'm gonna be on this fucking tuna can in the air. This Pringles box, like, holy shit. So dude, I'm on the plane. I end up just strapping myself in, hands in underneath the seatbelt.
Dude, I'd be wondering, like,
crushing me.
I'd be wondering, man, if I get up in the fucking air, it's just gonna bring the DMT back, or the Toad.
I was still in like a small like trance of like, it was like, dude, it was like, I was scared. Like, I had to call my homie. I was like, dude, I just need to talk to you right now to get on this fucking plane. Like, I just need.
And here's a guy with Iraq, Afghanistan, like, dodging kids with Mac 10s.
I'm just like, dude, like, bro, just get me on the fucking plane, and that's it.
Well, woke like, your ass.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. And then when I got home, you know, I saw my dog, and dude,
and you had seen your dog.
I didn't know. I didn't know until I asked, and I was like, "Was that you?" And dude, I had never, from all the times that I've been back and forth, I had never experienced a reception like that from him, to where he literally, dude, he blew his fucking coat. There was wads of hair. Now this was like August.
I'm telling you.
So this wasn't even.
Those fuckers have more of a conscience than we both think.
And I mean, I've shared that space with him, you know, doing mushrooms and all the other shit. So it's like I was able to see him for him a few times, but then to come back from that and then like kind of ask him like, hey, was that you, dude? Like, and then he was just, dude, somersaults. And like, I was sitting in the passenger seat because I was like, Mom, I can't.
He told you, yeah.
I told her I can't drive, and don't ask me any questions. Like, just let me I just need to be headphones on. Like I just let
like
me.
That's your sign for like everything you're doing now. Almost. Like weird.
Wow, isn't that nuts?
And dude, it was like, again, man, it was I had hair fucking with just lumps, and I was just like, all right, so that was you. And then from that point on, our relationship had taken such a pivot to where
that is
we're
wild.
So much in tune. And it's like I sneeze, he's like it's some of the stuff that happens. Man. It's weird, dude. It's weird.
Not to take this off subject. Sorry, Rob. Now the fucking pyramids, right? Let's just say, sorry, Rob, and sorry, audience. Okay, let's go back and let's pretend that we were all doing toad, right? Okay, and we were more in touch with nature and animals and dogs. There's a good chance that over time you could have developed like telepathic communications. You could also use vibration, like a razor that vibrates to shave. Over time, you could get that to move.
Yeah.
So to me, that's how they built the shit. In a short answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways now, like lucid dreaming. I don't know if anybody knows anything about lucid dreaming, but that's a thing. You can tap into that. It's like if you're having these nightmares, these night terrors. It's like try to stay in it. When you come out of it, start writing down and documenting what you do remember, because the likelihood of you being able to fall right back into that dream, it's okay. Fall back into that dream and lean into that shit a little bit, because ultimately what it's telling you is like, hey, hello, this is on your mind still. So why don't you try leaning into it? Because nothing's going to happen to you. Once you understand that you're in a lucid dream state and you're able to say, all right, well, you know what? Let me kind of just let's explore this. Let me roll and see where we're at, because we've all had the dream where we're riding a bicycle and we've all fallen off a fucking bicycle.
Yeah.
And we all wake up like, holy shit,
car accident, all kinds.
Or when you're half asleep on an airplane and you just startle to wake up.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can get back to that, or what that was that woke you up, then being able to navigate that space the next time you go down, especially for people who've experienced any type of physical, mental trauma. You can, kind of understand and help, coach yourself through. Like, this isn't real. Let me go over here. Let me go here.
What do you think that toad is? Like, what is that? What is DMT? What is that?
Well, the toad, I guess, from the research I've done, is it stimulates the pineal gland. So it basically it's a subconscious death.
I think it's what's outside of this. I think this is just an interface.
Yeah. Because we think I think we're all recycled at one point.
I won't go down the Hoffman road. We had Dr. Hoffman, and I love this guy because he made the most sense to me. Yeah. And nobody could beat his math.
Because we're all energy, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do with displaced energy? Where does it go? Energy in motion stays in motion, acted upon by another.
Well, he had gotten the best mathematician that on the planet.
Yeah.
And he proved, and we're talking Neil deGrasse Tyson, all of them, they couldn't beat his math, and he wanted them to. And the proof is that you have space and time, and then you have conscience.
Mm-hmm.
But the conscience creates space and time. This isn't here.
Yeah.
Your conscience creates this.
Yeah.
Not the brain. The conscience creates the brain.
Yeah.
Like space and time isn't here. It's created.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is what this is.
Yeah.
And he had thought, remember at the end, later, they believe they're trying to figure out what's outside of the metagoggles. Like right now we have metagoggles on.
Yeah.
What's outside of this?
Yeah.
And they, from my opinion, he thinks that DMT, the toad, that's the answer if they could just get approval to do research on it.
Yeah.
Well,
you think, they've done most of the research a long time ago when they introduced LSD and all that shit into the water supply.
And they hit that quick.
Yeah. Right.
And look how cool the cars were back then.
I just feel like if you look at any society, right, any tribe, anybody who's, living in the Amazon, in the fucking rainforest, with all that we have going on now,
shit.
And it's like you choose to be there.
Yeah.
Right. You choose to be a part of your family, and this is your culture. This is what you're proud of. This is this. And you've been using these substances for this period of time. It's like, dude, all this shit, it's convenience. Yeah. And you're happy.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're like you have your mission, you have your your hierarchy, but you see how happy everybody is to be with their family, and it's just like reading the book Sebastian Junger, Tribe, was an amazing book. I think everybody should check out.
What's called Sebastian?
Sebastian Junger is the author, and then the book is called Tribe. awesome, amazing, like just a really good book. And it kind of goes into that. It talks a lot about PTSD. It talks a lot about different areas and subjects. And it talks about, you know, how people are finding different relationships, and it's very well articulated. And, you know, but I feel like, you know, even with us today, it's like we're always trying to find what our purpose is, you know, even day to day. What am I going to, like, fuck, I got to go deal with this shit. Or it's like, but yeah, I think with these substances or with these medicines, or medications, or however we want to look at it.
What should just be on the shelf,
right.
And if you want to try it, do it.
I think there should be. It's definitely got to be. I don't think governmentally regulated, like, but it needs to be by people who understand and explore the space, because you're going to get a lot of those people. And this is one thing that scares me by psychedelics now are becoming mainstream, and it's just like, all right, it's been passed through a lot faster than weed was. And weed's pot. Like, dude, whatever, man. Like, weed gives me fucking anxiety. Do I take it to go to bed sometimes? Sure.
Right.
Whatever. I'll eat an edible, go to bed. I'm cool. But smoking a joint like I was when I was a kid gives me such anxiety.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to smoke weed and go walk around and try to be an adult. Like, no, it fucking skeeves me out.
Yeah.
You know,
Who the fuck wants?
Yeah,
that's why I expect who the fuck wants to be mature.
Yeah,
that's
right.
boring as fuck. I never
It's
want.
terrible.
When I'm 90, I'm going to be an immature
Hey, you
weirdo.
gotta be like Mick Jagger, man.
Yeah,
Still
those
kicking
guys,
it.
boy.
You know, but it's getting passed through so much faster. I just feel like there needs to be somebody regulating the government, because look at all the indoctrination that we have going on now.
Right,
and then now we're going to implement psychedelics, and look how fucking quickly that could be something utilized against us. And
Then the wrong person takes us.
Yeah.
Then
you get somebody who knows this, or I did this, and I'm going to go be the, you know, the shaman of my, and it's like, oh, I can figure this out. And then you have fucking, you know, it's like, dude,
everybody's going to be God.
yeah.
Like
and
Larry
it's just
Page.
like, yeah. So, I for me, it's very ceremonial. It's like, you know, I still to this day fucking scared of it. But it doesn't mean I can't walk the path and trying to figure out and hone in on what I need to hone in on. And, you know, it definitely gives a leg up. You know, for some people, you know, it may be too much, you know, and it may cause them to go do something or cause harm. So you know, everything can be abused. But if you're going into it with the right intent, and you have, you know, have experience with dealing with this type of stuff, or, you know, then by all means, like, try to kick over every rock and see what works.
And we've seen, you know, you've seen more, but we've seen 100 stories of psychedelics just changing people's life. Lots of vets. And, you know, they always say if you have any type of schizophrenia or whatever, it's horrible. But, you know, like, say for what you're doing, if you have a dog and you evaluate somebody and you have them in there, and like you did, you know, microdose.
Yeah.
How does this affect you?
Yeah.
A little bit more. And look what it did for you, what I've seen it do with other people.
Well,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They give you, you know, whatever it may be, this pill at the
frustrating,
hospital.
Yeah.
And they say, well, this helps with this.
Oh, yeah.
Just take it. Everybody's different. Everybody's bodies react differently. Everybody reacts differently, but they just give it to you anyway. And they say, oh, no, it's okay. Just take it. This is what we do for this. They generalize everything, and they say, this works, because we know it worked on 5 other people.
No, what works is is a best friend, and if they'd allow that, I really believe in the psychedelics.
We have to get
I don't know anybody
Tyler,
addicted to it.
We have to get Tyler, and we had a friend of ours, Tyler. He went
full blown. Like, when I say full blown, like, I mean all the way. And I respect him, but I mean, he went all the way.
Yeah, him and I don't know if you know the UFC fighter Rashad Evans. Yeah. Sugar Rashad Evans. He was in.
Yeah, Rashad was
big.
That changed his life too. Changed Rashad's life.
Right. Yeah, dude, and it's you got to, and it's bringing you back to who you are, you know, and that was the biggest take that I got from it. Like, once all the dust settled, so it took about 3 weeks. So after my 3 or 4 days, whatever the hell I was out there for, it put so much into perspective to where when I was faced with something, it's like I felt this pit of anxiety kind of dissipate. And then some of the breakthroughs that I had kind of felt like an unshackling, you know, being like, think of a tennis ball that's just wrapped up, or not a tennis ball, but like a rubber band ball that just wrapped tight. Just being able to fucking cut off a chip. It was just like, and then I was able to breathe. I was able to sleep. I was able to, you know, be in an argument and understand, like, just relax. Like, stop yelling at me. Stop getting, like, there's no reason why we have to have this type of discussion at this level. Let's tone this shit down. Here's our 5-meter target. I could scoop right back up to like 80,000 feet. Like it was on a drop of a dime to know, like, all right, yeah, this is the path that you normally would have taken. Let's go this route.
Well, I've heard so many of these stories, so many. And so after you do it, the effects they kick in over time.
Yeah. And once it took about 2 weeks for shit to kind of come back. Or no, it was like about 10 days ish, like where things kind of started to like come back to normal. Cause dude, I was like trying to sleep. I was like, fuck, dude, I don't want to go to bed. Like, what did I do? Like, the first time I was like, I fucked up. Like, hey, Ron, like, you fucked up. Like,
is it going to be a white spot tonight? A fucking,
where the fuck am I going to be tonight? What dimension am I going to be stuck in?
Am I going to have a shovel?
Dude, I was
what
like,
was it
fuck.
You saw a leaf blower?
Dude, I was like
his leaf blower going to be up my ass tonight?
He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, dude, it was a rough go. And it's like, I can see where, some of that space, if you let it get to you and you fall victim to that, like, oh my God, you're fucked, and it's just like a lot of shit can go sideways. But if you believe in it in the process and like, all right, if you have a healthy support network, which I highly recommend, when you do this type of stuff, is to have people there that can carry you and you can carry them and you can, facilitate, hey dude, it's okay. And some of the biggest take I got was, hey, learn how to love yourself. Don't succumb to your inner voice of resentment towards things around you that you can't control. Stop being pissed off at the apple for not producing orange juice.
That's so true.
And then understand the relationship dynamics, that it's okay to be on a trajectory and going in one direction and somebody else falling off like a rocket or a booster where it just goes. Like that's done. That relationship's over. I don't need to constantly revisit why that didn't work or why we're no longer friends or why we don't have this friendship anymore, where it's like, nah, dude, that shit doesn't matter. Like, we're still going to be boys, but like, I'm just going a different way and you're not in that pitch. You're not in that next clip of my life. And that's okay. I don't have to come all the way back down and be like, oh, why don't you love me? No, it's just like,
I'm trying to stop being a fixer. Because that's how I kind of am. Like, I'll see somebody and I'll hire them or something, and I know I shouldn't, and I just try to fix them. Or
it's just saying no too. It's just being able to say no.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you just?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be scared to disappoint somebody, because that's shit that they got to deal with, not me.
And that could help them along the way.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll blame that on my grandpa for making me a man, and there is no, and there is no give up, and there is no fucking tired, and you know how it was. I can tell. And Italian, so we're both.
Dude, I've eaten fucking so many bars of soap.
Yeah. That was
Wash your mouth out.
Zest.
Wash your mouth out.
That nastiest blue one, right?
Yeah.
That must
stick it in your mouth. What did you say? Wash it out.
That must be a Sicilian thing, because that zest is the worst, and they don't just. I mean, it's just not fun.
Yeah.
But you become tough.
Real
quick.
Yeah, you learned.
Need more of that nowadays. But.
No such thing as failure.
How much do you think Big Pharma is scared of the psychedelics company? But
they'll get their hands.
Yeah, they'll figure out how to. I mean, look at what they're doing with peptides right now. Like, peptides work, right? And they're crushing that industry because they want the margins. You know, it's
and what they're doing is messing people up. They're giving them the. It's just a mess. I mean, there's going to be lawsuits galore. Yeah. Because they're already doing lawsuits on that fat loss thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, semaglutide.
I told you that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that eats your insides.
Yeah.
That's how you lose.
Dude, I tried it. I did it for like 2 months, and my fucking elbows, I was like, what the fuck? Do I need Tommy John? Like, this is miserable.
My friend did it. It ate his intestines. He had to go get surgery.
Yeah,
39 years old. And
it happened to him.
And a friend of ours, too.
Yeah.
It's
wild,
that
dude.
shit. You know, but they'll push it for the buck because, 100%. Hey, now you need surgery. Bill, code, bill, code.
I just like the commercials that they're like, and this may cause boom.
And
you're like, what the fuck?
Anal leakage, this, that, and the other thing, internal organ. Like,
and if you do the clinical, if you read the clinical trials, they don't even know how it works.
Yeah.
They do not know how it makes you lose weight. They have no idea. Yeah. But here.
Take it.
You'll be the guinea pig.
Yeah. And then you can't sue us.
Right.
Same thing with the COVID vaccine.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to push that shit across the board as fast as possible.
Well, you can't sue them as
And you
of right
can't sue
now,
them as of right
no
now.
matter what they do.
Yeah, and it's
You
just
never-
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
power. And this is our country.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
What
But
was-
they'll use taxpayer dollars to generate frivolous lawsuits against a former sitting president to say that this happened and this happened. Yet, wait a second, all of this other shit that's going on right now. Are you kidding me? We're paying for all this bullshit.
all these indictments.
All this, like everybody's
Yeah.
paying for this bullshit, and then when it's not true,
Nothing.
Yeah.
what's going on? Who's who started this shit? Like, it just, bro, to me, it's just like,
I'm going to go with George Soros, Larry Page,
Yeah.
Blackguard, Vanguard, or BlackRock,
Yeah.
those five. I mean, you're going to try to say that down here is worth $18 million. Are you kidding me?
right?
And you're actually bringing that to court.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's still beating everybody's ass by 60 points.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
When you were over there in combat, all the times, give us like a scary, scary moment that you got out of.
So we were on patrol, and one dude, he got shot in the back of the head, or not in the head, but he got hit, back of the ear, and, round came through.
Mm.
Came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, obviously airway was affected, and I didn't know anything about it. Our first sergeant, he was a G. He had a Silver Star, and that was from Gulf War timeline for him.
Wow.
Oh.
And then he was like, hey, we were all pinned down in the back of a high back. And then again, same thing. This is where, all you hear is rounds cracking over the top of your head. Our 7 tons, lighting up this building. Our vehicle's down because now, it was just tires were shot out. Everything was fucked.
Fuck.
We're kind of pinned. He's like, hey, get out and get this dude. So it's like, I hopped out, had another dude help. We lifted this dude up, and we had the commandeer an Iraqi police truck. And this thing was like fucking Hilux, or like this little, like almost like a little Tacoma type thing, like a Ford Ranger, right? Yeah. And you got, 2 dudes in the front, and then there was like 5 of us in the back, and then the casualty, and he was expectant, and we took off. And by the time we got to Flew Surgical, we had no comms the entire way. So we were just like, we're fucking burning it.
Wow.
Down this dirt road, no comms, couldn't talk to anybody. Fucking, we're all sitting. We were at the point where we're trying to stick a fucking pen down this dude's throat, something. And couldn't get the airway established. And then by the time we arrived, he was deceased. And
sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
to
that
hear
was,
and
but
to his
so, but that led me to become a paramedic.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be in a situation where I couldn't do something, and that kind of led me down that road of like, all right, this is something I had to live with. This is something that, had nothing to do with me, but it had everything to do with the outcome of what I wanted to try to see happen in the future, for being put in a situation and at least being able to provide some sort of an outcome for somebody. And yeah, that was one of our sticky situations, because he was a good dude, and I was just working with the dude. I have 5 days before.
What's that?
I was working with him, one-on-one, and because we never really talked or anything. And then I was just like, then we started bullshitting, and I was good friends with his squad leader, and then it was just like, hey, work with him a little bit. I was like, yeah, dude, no worries. And then that happened, and yeah, then when we got back, kind of doing our our R&R at the barracks, our buddy, he deploys, and it's like a couple months later, he goes with a new unit, and then he gets deployed out to Ramadi, and then he gets smoked in Ramadi.
Jeez.
So it was just like, it was fucking
one after another.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. When I was younger, I wanted to be a paramedic for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I thought if I was a paramedic, I said,
wow,
I could save you.
Yeah.
Girl credit, panty dropper, guy I could save. But now I really do. I want to. But before it was just for pussy and be like the guy who can save everybody.
Because everybody hates cops. No one wants to fuck a cop.
Yeah. But
no offense, dudes, but like, you guys are the fun sponge. Like, you guys are not fucking out having,
Right, but if you're like the half good-looking dude at the party and you save people, I figured, well, I mean, this is probably guaranteed. So I thought I would get it, and then if anything ever happened, I could save somebody, and it would work out in my benefit.
Yeah.
But now I really want to. What does it take to be, like, what do you have to go through to be an NPR? Not NPR, fucking
National Registered Paramedic. So I mean, it's about a year and a half of school. In conjunction with that, I also went and got my degree at the same time. So I was dual enrolled. So I was doing paramedic school and my degree seeking through EMS. And then
congratulations.
It was a fucking, and then it was shitty part. It was fucking Palm Beach State in Jupiter campus to Broward College for paramedic school. So fucking 3 days a week.
What time was that?
That's when I had ADD and I was on Adderall. That's what I went to. That's when Big Pharma hooked it up.
That's when that was.
That's when that was. So that pushed me, and again, it was just, dude, it was a kick in the balls. Basically 17 months of just nonstop pathophysio bio. You're going through, you're doing ride-alongs, you got 1,200 hours of hours that you got to put in, and then with the clinical hours, and then once you were done, and at that time when I was going through mine, like the National Registry was like the new thing that they were coming out with for paramedics, and what you had to do was you actually had to register at an approved site. I think this one was Melbourne or like Fort Pierce, somewhere up north, and you had to go in person and you had to take a practical examination. So I think there was maybe 8 or 9, maybe more, 8 or 9 stations, and then each of those stations is like, what do you do? And you're like, you have to go through that whole scene size up, this, that, the other thing, safe location, blah 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 blah, that whole fucking skit that you've memorized in CMT. And then once you've identified, all right, could be this, could be that, could be this, could be that, I'm going to do XYZ. And you had to do the least amount as possible. That was like, what is the least invasive thing that you had to do? And, from there, you get checked off, you're good. So you do your trauma, your BLS call, BLS, cardiac, a PEDS, or something like, dude, it was like you're there all day long.
No, I'm done for.
Yeah,
I thought maybe there was way like 90 days.
And then you got to go take the adaptive exam after all that. So you have to do the practical portion first. Jeez. So you have to see that you're skilled to be able to do whatever you need to do on the street. So they give you a EKG, and they're like, what's this? What rate is this? All right, what do you do? What drugs do you give? How do you push? Where do you push? Where else can you push?
Wow.
And you're like, this. All right, cool. So once you finish out, you get, once you've passed, all right, then that qualifies you to go take the National Register exam. So you still go to the same, like, Pearson, whatever fucking test center that you got to go do. And then you sit down, and then you're doing good when the questions just get so fucking off the wall. You're like, what?
Like, possible?
We're talking like what? Like you're getting into like ATP, and cellular respiration. Like you're going down to like how many fucking glucose molecules need to be in the cell to fucking make this cell function. I'm like, but for me, it was like that was cool, and that kind of helped me again, that background let me kind of see what I wanted to do with the organization moving forward, because it kind of fell like, sick, not sick. What do we got? What are we doing? Like, and then it's just, it's trying to get more of a network built up, and more providers, and more, other specialties and professionals in, who can help give more of an inclination. Cause for me, I'm here to fucking dog you, blood work, this. I want to put you in front of the people that you need to see, based on what you're presenting to me or what you're giving me, the same way I would in the street. And, no good deed goes unpunished. I'll put it that way. There's a learning curve to it. You're trying to help people. Some people are just so fucking selfish, dude. They don't give a shit. And, that was a because I'm giving everything I possibly can to this, and it's just like you get some dudes that are just shitheads, and it's just like, you know what, fuck you, dude. Like, just cuts deep, but you learn from it, and it took a while to figure that it wasn't personal. Like, this end of the day, it's how do you keep it, in a transactional state where, I was letting these dudes in my home. You're staying in my home. We're supposed to be doing X, Y, Z, and some dudes are just being assholes, so.
Figures.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Yeah. So you try to go through, you create new SOPs, you create different protocols. You're like, all right, well, how do we screen these guys so that, hey, they're not going to be, we're not going to deal with this in the future, or this is when we recognize these, they're going to go here, or maybe we just deny altogether and say, hey, look, you're not a good fit for us right now, but we're going to put you in with another organization that we feel is more staffed and more equipped to deal with what your needs are. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Good for you.
So,
and I've also taken that off my bucket list. I'm just going to call we have your number. I'm just going to call you.
Yeah.
No, I thought maybe there was a way, like 90 days, I could get somebody to answer the questions and just show me how to do it. But all that. No.
I mean, dude, paramedic school is no joke.
No thanks.
It's a lot of fun though.
I'm good.
It's like you learn shit. They're like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not good.
Yeah.
I'm not good. But I know you.
Yeah.
And John the fireman, my buddy John the fireman. So, I know that. What's your take on the Israel thing that's going on here? I mean, why are just I make it quick because I don't want to press you about it, because, for obvious reasons. But if you're Israel and that whole situation, do you think we should even be involved in that? When we have all this shit going on over here.
It's a strategic location.
To get Iran.
For something.
Okay. But then what does Iran do then? We go after Iran, and then what? Isn't that kind of dangerous?
For who?
Us.
How?
Okay, maybe not. Okay. Well, what about Ukraine and Russia? Because how if, let me make this analogy.
Yeah.
How if Mexico took Texas
Yep.
when, a long time ago, right? And for the last 30 years, there was too much power in Mexico where we couldn't get in and take Texas back. But now we kind of have a softer administration in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think U.S. would go take Texas back if it was originally U.S.?
Yeah.
So if the Soviet Union was originally Russia and now it's Ukraine, isn't Putin kind of just taking back what was his?
Or is it target of opportunity?
I don't know. That's why I want you to tell me.
I mean,
Because I really don't think Putin's that bad of a guy, but I don't know. Tell me different.
To me, man, it's like I'm at the point now where I care about the people I love and the people that are in front of me.
Good fucking answer. Good answer.
The objectives of what this government is reaching for and striving towards, I don't know. When you consider that we're still bitching and arguing about the same three things over the last 70 to 100 years, whether it's abortion, religion, and guns.
Yeah.
When you look at guns and you want to say, mental health's the issue. Yeah, right. Mental health is the issue because the job you're doing and being able to provide and allocate resources to assisting in providing patients with that resource, you're fucking it up royally. And then you're going to try to convince everybody else that guns are the issue. No, you sitting at a fucking desk not doing your goddamn job is the fucking problem. And then you're going to continue to placate all this other bullshit. Besides getting on that rant, I just, for me, it's like it's very difficult to, some of these, like the way they're stripping things away, and everybody is just so, this is why this is the bad thing. This is the assault rifle. It's like, no, it's not, dude. We need to get back to showing kids how to use weapons, how to break them down back in the old days of what happened. Like, don't be scared of this.
Fucking social media.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, as far as what's happening overseas in, I feel bad for just the loss of human life.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, dude, I don't know what the fuck this government's doing. I don't even like it. To me, it's
non-existent.
I don't even.
Like you're on your own thing.
Yeah. Like until I'm not, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Do you see a World War III coming?
I don't. What I'll say is I don't think it's going to be a conventional war the way we've seen it in the past.
Be more grid-ish, satellite-ish stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like where Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
especially look at like how they're aligning now and trying to shut down the dollar and all this other shit with China and Brazil. I mean, Brazil's the largest sugar importer, right?
Yeah.
So we're manufacturer of sugar. So it's like, well, that's in everything.
Yeah.
So but it's just, to me, man, it's.
For you, it's just got to be mind-boggling, I would think. And
I try to shut it down, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even try to think about it. We're like, oh, you see this and you watch this? No, I don't. So some of the stuff, I don't even.
Right.
You don't even know what's going on.
I don't even fucking know and I'm happier.
Yeah,
not knowing what
I bet.
Because the moment someone comes here, it's like, cool. Like when they were bringing in Syrian refugees, I was like, all right, cool. Because you want to know what? They're going to 4 or 5 states: California, New York, Boston, fucking Minnesota. And these are all the sanctuary states. So that's where those fucking people are going.
Fuck, Boston. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts.
The Irish are letting that
Massachusetts is fucking super.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah, I'm
whatever.
just a little surprised.
But you're going to just import those folk. And
Yeah.
that's where they're going to go. So all those big, bright ideas that you had or whatever type of attack that's going to possibly incur if and when.
I mean, how does it not? You're tens of millions of people are coming over here from the cartel. I mean, what, nothing's going to happen? Everything's just going to go back to normal?
They're doing good up there in New York.
Well, look at the war on drugs. Is it really war on drugs? Like, this is a fucking, if this is a business, right?
Well, we had Roger Reeves in, and he didn't give a fuck, and he was flying hundreds and hundreds of pounds of fucking weed, and what was it, coke too?
Yeah, coke.
But both of them. And for some odd reason, Texas and Arkansas, Clinton and Bush, just to make it clear, for whatever reason, it seemed to be a little bit more money to make a drop in those 2 areas. I don't know, maybe a coincidence.
Yeah.
50,000 and 5,000. And this is what, in the 80s?
Yeah.
Right.
50,000 those 2 places, everywhere else 5, some more on drugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we look at Portugal, who pretty much has made kind of everything illegal. And they're doing pretty good, but they went slow with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Amsterdam is cool.
Yeah.
Amsterdam is a dope spot. No pun intended on that one. But I mean, Amsterdam is one of my favorite countries to visit. I've been there close to like 15 times. Like it, bro.
What's your favorite thing to eat over there? You gotta have a good one over there,
dude. There were so many restaurants that I went to that were very like westernized. But I mean, to the fucking hot dogs, like it's more of like a hipster spot, but it's like. The place was so rad. Like it was the first time I had like a pretzel bun with like this gourmet hot dog stuffed with like broccoli rabe and just like it was fucking delicious.
Shit.
And I went to this other place, Graham's Kitchen, which
fresh. They have fresh food.
Yeah,
fresh.
Yeah.
So they didn't get all Western yet.
Well, I walked into one place, Graham's Kitchen. It was a Michelin rated place, and I was like, I didn't realize it was an experience there, and it's just like you sit down and then boom, here you go, and I was just like, fuck, this is
badass,
dope, yeah. So
in the future, you got the event coming up. Pull up the website, Instagram, and we'll get some donations, get some volunteers.
Yeah,
me and Rob will come out.
Yeah. I'll bring the kids out too.
Yeah,
we'll be in Vegas in May for SciCon out in Vegas to speak there. We'll be out in SHOT Show again.
I think you. You came. I don't know, what was that? 3 weeks ago. You came to talk to our football team. 13-year-olds, and I have to say, man, when you were there, he brought the dog, and every kid, man, were glued. The eyes were glued while you were talking. And one thing I noticed, and we didn't talk to the kids beforehand, we didn't say anything, and this is where I think this is important for you too, maybe, but when they were done, every one of our kids lined up in a single file line. They went up to him, they shook his hand, and they looked him in the eye. I watched all of them.
They looked him in the eye?
They looked him all in the eye. We didn't even tell them.
Do more of that.
We didn't tell them that beforehand, but I think the problems that we're having and the problems that continue to occur in this country is because the youth is, through no fault of their own, what they're seeing in social media, what they're consuming, no father figures, no parents sometimes. They need more guys like you and people to go out to speak to them and to teach them, just be a good person, like you said.
Yeah.
Hold the door for somebody. Say thank you. But that really meant a lot because I said we didn't say anything to the kids when I saw it. We
and
watched
they
them.
lined
All
up?
his coaches afterwards would go.
And looked him right.
They
Looked up
all,
right in the eye?
they all
Wow,
looked him in
that's
the eye and
cool.
shook his hand.
Good.
But
Congratulations.
But I
man.
think if you have your mission, everything you're doing, but if you got to speak at some schools and bring that dog with you, I think you can change some even kids' lives. But
Hoping so, man. Like it was,
As much
and
as
I
you
love
like to
talking to
speak.
kids,
I know.
right? I hate
right.
because, dude, I like to just get up and like
Right.
I hate scripted stuff because it's like it's so jaded on unless the statistics or however you're trying to achieve what you're trying to say. It's like I'll just go up, I'll tell my story, how it is through me, be authentic about it, and then just like, hey, ask me questions that you want so that there's no reservation. Like I'm not speaking on any one thing. It's like, just ask me this. And, that was it. The reception I got, from the kids, it was amazing because it's like you could see everybody was engaged and they're all at different points in their life. And I remember being that kid, and it's just like,
yeah.
And it's crazy because when you came to talk, I remember, my big thing always is I got 2 boys. They both play football. I'm not saying every kid has to play football, but I think kids should be involved in a team sport.
Yeah, competitive.
Competitive team sport, correct.
Yeah.
Because it teaches you life lessons.
Yeah.
And they keep pulling that type of stuff away. And less and less kids are playing team sports.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the results of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just want to give you kudos for that, man. That was amazing when you came to talk to those kids. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like it was, and I love helping kids and just whatever I can do for them, man. And I just that's the.
Might have to go see the toad again because you're gonna be speaking a lot, bro. I hate speaking. Like in here, to me in here, like I'm in a box.
Yeah.
So I'm not speaking. I'm just like having a conversation with 2 friends.
Yep.
And a couple things like that I researched, but nothing like where I'm scripted and this and that and that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
I mean, anybody could sit and just read a PowerPoint, right? But
Yeah.
it's like it takes somebody like it just be real, and that's my thing. It's just like, dude, just be who you are. And if people like I don't care if you fucking like me or don't. If the dude's a fucking asshole, like, all right, well,
fantastic,
sweet, man. Guess what? You want to know how much I give a shit? Like,
yeah,
have a good one. I don't care. But it's like just to be authentic, say your story, speak your truth, own your shit. You fuck up, own it. No, it's nobody else's fault.
Get out there and talk to them. Do the toad and talk to them kids, man. If you got them lining up with eye contact, I mean, you don't see that anymore these days.
No.
If I didn't when I was younger, I got woken up.
We didn't say.
I got woken up.
It'd be one thing if we told them to do it. We didn't say it. They got up. They got in line, and they did.
Yeah, me growing up, I got woken up, and God forbid I didn't hold a woman the door for a woman.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I think that might be the next one too. But hey, paying it forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to I hate speaking so bad. Rob, he can we were doing sponsors a lot, and they would want us to like hold the thing. We were doing like food. And at one point, because I hate it, 60 seconds would take me 3 hours. You can ask him.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking scripted.
Yeah.
I have to read it exactly this way, and that's just not me.
Yeah.
So eventually we had said, no more on camera.
Yep.
If you don't have a B-roll, you can give me whatever. I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah.
We'd be here 3 hours for 60 seconds.
Yeah. Dude, it's rough, man.
Because I'm like, what is that word? I don't say that word.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And that's the marketing.
Hey.
That's all the branding.
Hey, Longo, look what I got. What do you think? And then you come back and you go, oh, it's
This
great.
food is so great.
Hey, Rob, how's that rotten chicken over there? Good?
Terrible.
This rubber fucking chicken. Tastes
Oh, yeah, this lettuce is great. Ooh, it was fun.
Yeah.
And it would be like, use facial express. And I'd be like, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go everything, Rob. Let's get some donations, some volunteers.
So we're going, it's warriorschoice.org, O-R-G, and
you can donate. Service
Get
dogs, what
there.
we do.
There's the shop with the
Getting the white
shirts
hats.
and the hats.
Yep.
Getting that white hat with the
there.
red.
For Instagram, you can check. Oops, I still have that one up. You can check out your Instagram page, which is Warriors Choice Foundation. Give that a follow.
And then the link tree is right there for the raffles.
With the cool raffles, man. You got a lot of cool stuff.
You got Wings, Wheels, and Fashion in there. Yeah, we had Vic in. We had a bunch of time. Yeah, Vic, I know a long time. Alex. We had Alex.
So Alex,
he just did that damn plane thing.
Yeah, so he came to our event last year. We had a little bird demonstration that showed up. Had some deeds coming down.
That's a small world. I didn't know.
Roped out of the plane or roped out of the aircraft, and then did a vehicle interdict VI. So we had a pretty good turnout for that one. This year we kind of slowed everything down a little bit just because we're in the process of an acquisition of a new site. Mm-hmm. So we're really excited about that. Can't say much about it, but I know that it's for us. It's in the step of the right direction of what this and the full scope of this program is going to look like, and we're hoping to be the next premier center, or at least the premier center here in South Florida.
You will be.
Awesome.
Yeah. You will be. You will be. And the red is killer.
Yeah.
The red, that pops.
Yeah.
That pops.
It does.
Yeah.
It really pops, man. And the red goes with the Warrior to me.
Yeah.
Because I used to box.
Okay.
So when I would get hit too much, I would see red. You know, I would keep getting hit, but I would see red. Yeah, so whenever I see red, I think, Warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just do. But hey, man, it'd be great if you come by like every 3 months and just update us with what's going on.
Yeah, dude, love to, man.
And
love
to. And keep the cycle going.
Yeah.
And fill us in, let us know what's going on. Just hang out with us, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd love to, man. That'd
really
be
good
great.
time.
Yeah.
Really respect it. And I love what you're doing.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, guys. Seriously, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Anytime, absolutely. Man. And I got your number.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, sorry I'm late, man.
Wait.
Oh, man.
See, I'm the king of late.
Baby.
Right?
I try, and it never seems to work.
Right?
But thank you so much for your time, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And hopefully we could do like every 3 months, come in and
let's do it.
Let's recycle it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. This podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy.